3, 2, 1.
The Hayden.
Steve.
What's up, Pack? Look at Adam just, by the way, before this thing started, Adam told me, don't lean forward, just stay back here. And the first thing I did was go screaming into the thing. I can't help myself. What's up, Pack? Steve Del Savio here from Pack Leader Dogs. We are here with the Ask the Pack Leader podcast. I'm here with our first staff member, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Aside from my father, if you want to consider him a staff member.
Well, he's like
somewhat staff.
But we're here with my with Dave, who's one of our trainers here. He's been with us for a while. He helps us with training sessions, board and train dogs, camp dogs, other shit too. I'm just saying everything going on around here. So welcome to the Ask the Pack Leader, the first ever.
Welcome, Dave.
Hello.
Thanks for being here.
So what's the plan? So today we're going to do an Instagram live on, obviously, new setup. You guys see us changing the setup every freaking time here, but we're trying shit out. This is what people should be doing. This is what you guys should be doing with your life, is trying different things, testing things out, seeing what works. And don't have a meltdown if shit's not working out perfectly, because you could always make a change like we're fucking doing here. You know what I mean?
I like it.
Huh?
So far, I like it.
Why? Because I'm nice and lounge? You like this part?
More
What's up,
relaxed.
guys? What's up, Pat? Let's talk about some shit here today. So we're going to do a on the Maddie Ranch page. So last time you guys saw me, we did a quick fire Instagram live questions from my page, from the Pack Leader page. And today we're going to do one from the Ask, oh, not the Ask, what is it called?
Ranch.
The
Maddie Ranch, at the Maddie Ranch. So if you guys aren't checking out, if you guys aren't on the at the Maddie Ranch, that's the team page basically, where we're shooting all the videos and showing the inner workings of what's going on here with the pack walks, with the training sessions we're doing, with the behind the scenes, the camp dogs, the boarding dogs, like all that good stuff that's happening. So we'll get into that. When is the live starting?
It's starting in a few minutes. Why don't you
6 minutes.
Why don't you introduce Dave or talk about like how Dave joined the? I have a question.
That's
honestly.
a good one too. Actually, we could say like, well, I did introduce him in case you weren't paying attention, but what we could do, is talk about like when you came for the interview. Do you remember what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
I
asked Dave-
remember that.
Tell us, Dave.
Oh, I'll just say what I did. He comes in and I go, so what brings you to like be interested in working with us? Do you remember what
I
you
had
said?
it on the application. I said it too, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's on the application.
It was on the application. That's okay. So, but what did you remember what you
So
said?
to give whoever's listening a brief kind of like synopsis of before I came here, I worked at a doggy daycare for 6-7 years, and I saw Steve's posts on Instagram and saw what he was doing with dogs and like all the process of what went into that. So I wrote in my application, said every day I go to work and I wish I was doing the kind of things I see you doing on Instagram every day.
Yeah.
So that's what I wrote in the message. And I think that's probably what got me kind of in the door.
It definitely got you, because I was like, we get a ton of applications and I'm going through them. I'm like, okay, another dog trainer. This one knows this. Everyone knows everything. And I'm like, well, I want to be doing, I'm at work with my dogs and I watch or see something and I'm just like, I wish I could be there doing that. And I was like, bring this guy in for an interview right away. Let's see. Yeah. And even in the first interview, it went really well. And I was like, let's like bring this guy on. I think it's going to be a really good thing. And it's been awesome having you here. Yeah, it's been really great. And what I love about my team here is the engagement and everybody really wanting to learn and get better and grow. So it's been a challenge. Like Jamie's to my right. I don't know. Do you have camera on her? Okay, good.
Does anyone know I'm here?
Yeah.
Didn't even introduce me.
Yes, I did.
No, I didn't.
Didn't I?
I don't think you did.
Oh.
So Jamie's here. Adam's still behind the wheels of steel.
They can actually see me this time. I'm like barely in frame over here. What's
Okay,
up,
yeah,
guys?
you can see you. Okay, good.
Yeah.
What the hell was I just saying?
The interview went well, and
Yeah.
teams open.
Oh, the
learning.
team. Yeah, it's taken time because look, what we always say, it's taken time. You guys hear me say sometimes on the stuff, we're looking for new members and this and that, and people are probably saying like, what the hell's the problem? Why don't they have somebody yet by now? Because we're super selective of who we're going to bring in to join the team and who's going to be part of the pack. And to me, that's a really critical thing is people's energy more than their skill with dog or their what they think they can do with dogs or their talent and all that kind of thing. Like energy is the number one thing here. So it's taken time to get the right people here. You know, there's people who are on their own thing. They want to, do it on their terms. They feel like they got it or whatever it is. I'm looking for people, and look, there's a lot of people say I'll come part-time, I'll do a little bit, I'll do this, but I really want people who want to make this their mission, their passion, and who I believe can handle what it is that we're doing. Because this is not an easy thing. Like, look, what we're trying to do is probably different than most other companies, which is like most other companies. Let's just get our place running, make money, and live life, and that's the end of it, right? We're like trying to literally change the way the globe, is that the right word, globe, I guess,
Sure.
or the world is,
Same thing.
the world views animals, which will in turn change the way they view themselves and life.
Yep.
I mean, it's not even like yeah, it's not even like, oh, maybe I'll do things a little differently. Like, whoa, like for me, like, at least for me, like working with dogs has totally changed my life completely. So that's what we're looking for, is people who are willing to be part of that mission. And it's a lot of work. We do a lot of fucking shit here. I mean, God, during coronavirus, Dave was working 7 days a week nonstop. Like Jay was there helping. And it was just like, it was pretty crazy during that time. But it wasn't, it's not like we were swamped with business and stuff like that. It was just, it was just
There
three
was
of
a
us
lot.
really doing, and Cassie too, like doing stuff with the dogs here. So it was a lot. And we were trying to survive the business and making sure, because I mean, you talk about getting slapped in the face with uncertainty out of nowhere, where we're like, well, first of all, we were already in uncertainty because we just moved to a brand new ranch.
Right.
And then we're like,
And then
okay,
2 weeks
so
later, everything shut down.
yeah, like we're like, all right, we're ready to do this shit. All right, so how are we? And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, and now there's this virus that's shutting the world down. Like, what the fuck?
But honestly, what better timing though?
Hon-
Imagine
yeah.
being stuck in Hoboken
Yeah.
during the pandemic.
I know.
Yeah.
That's where this is where we're trying to tell everybody, is like to look at everything from a gratitude perspective. Like, what is coming out of this? And you know what? I don't want to change the subject, because this is what Dave knows. This is what I'm like all over the map with this stuff.
think
But I
everyone
heard,
knows that.
you know, it's funny. I watched this guy. I don't know if anybody watched the Ultimate Fighting thing over the weekend. There was a big Ultimate Fight over the weekend, and one of the guys, Chris Weidman, threw a leg kick and shattered his leg completely. Completely shattered his leg, and like went to step on it, and the leg like bent, and he fell to the ground. It was like totally busted his leg, right? And he just released something from the hospital saying that all I've been doing is trying to figure out what's the positive that's coming out of this. So he's spending so that's a guy to me who's at an elite level. That's a pack leader, by the way. He's at an elite level in the fight game, and he is, you know, he's been the champion once already, and he's trying to continue the whole thing. Breaks his leg, and is in there not doing the poor. How many people do you know that would be in there and be like, why me and poor me, and
And
this
my
is the end of
career's over.
Oh, yeah.
career's over, there's no way, and why did this happen to me, poor me, all this. Instead he's thinking like, I'm just looking for the positive out of this, and I haven't found it yet, but I'm sure I'll find it at some point.
Right.
And I'm on this journey, and I'm just trying to stay positive while dealing with the pain and all the shit. But it's just one of those things to me of seeking the positive. So yeah, sending the whole entire economy of the world into a shutdown definitely was a scary piece of uncertainty. But like, what could we get out of this? Well, we can have time now to start figuring shit out if we can survive this thing, and figure out what to do and how we can make this efficient. And it's honestly given us like a little bit of like a head start for like when the economy starts really back up again. That we're like, I feel like we're ready now to like be like, all right, let's go. Let's get more dogs for camp, more dogs for boarding.
Definitely.
Like that's less dogs for training, because it's like never ending right now. It's nonstop. I mean, I'm not complaining about it, because I know how many people in this times are struggling, but how many people are looking for training with their dog and help with their dog and help with their board and train dog. But yeah, anyway, so what else? What time are we doing that part? Is it coming up soon, or do
It's
we have-
already going. I'm trying to get it on now.
Okay,
Okay, now we're live.
we're live.
Perfect timing.
Somebody's gonna have him back here.
Steve is really impatient, by the way. I just wanted to know.
I am impatient.
I just want you guys to notice that.
Yeah.
You were actually right on time.
Okay,
Let's
while
go
in
live
the
at
meantime, why
2:30.
don't we say, well, for you, Dave, what do you think has been like the difference of the old place that you were at? And we won't name names. We're not trying to. This is to bash anybody or anything, but the old place.
Say
or
hi
the
to
old
job,
Instagram
you
if
mean?
can, real quick.
Yeah, or
Steve, say hi to Instagram. Dave, say what's up.
What's up, Instagram?
what's up, Insta? This is Maddie Ranch.
Maddie Ranch Pack.
Maddie Ranch pack page. I love this shit. This is amazing. So for you guys who don't know, this is the team page, and this is if you're for the people who follow me who are on here now. On this page, where we just started this page, by the way, but we're starting to show the inner workings of the Maddie Ranch and what goes on behind the scenes here, how the trainers are doing with the dogs and our camp dogs and our boarding dogs. So if you aren't following Maddie Ranch, get on that shit now. By the way, that's my way of saying fucking follow it already. Yep. Okay, so we'll get some
This is a-
questions going in there. But
This is
in
a
the
good way
meantime-
of people following the page, getting
Yeah.
some more lives on here.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely will. I'll do it more in here, and maybe I'll do more on like my page, more. By the way, we're doing another production meeting basically in the middle of this, but this is how we do things here. Is do on my page more of like the psychology and like that stuff. I mean, and on that page you're going to do the same thing, but not the same. You know what I mean? You're still going to be talking about that, but we'll focus on my page being more of like the instruction stuff and this and that, on this page being the instruction from the team and like the behind the scenes of the ranch and everything happening here, and maybe all of our like the programs we're going to offer. We're going to start offering group class. We announce it on there. So like the happenings of the ranch, because right now it's not like totally real yet because of the way things are, the economy and shit. But we wanted to get to a point where, you know, maybe we're announcing like the next group class that we're coming out with is this, and sign up here through like the website, or, you know, like, and we do it on that page. So that'd be cool. But anyway, so why don't you say what was the difference about the other place versus working here?
I mean, so many differences. Overall, the
Imagine
first
he
thing
just says like the other place is so much fucking better than this place.
I was gonna
wish
say,
I
be
wish I
honest.
never got here.
I mean, first of all, like the main thing you notice right away is the noise. Like coming to a place like this, you're out you're at the ranch, you're in the middle of nature, and it's like, you know, you could hear a pin drop for the most part. You know, you hear the birds, you can take a deep breath, and everything is still. You know, for the most part, it's calm here.
Yeah.
At any doggy daycare, pretty much wherever you go, it's just going to be bark, 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 bark. You know, dogs are bouncing off the windows and making a lot of noise and getting into things. So obviously, just the way we approach things is just drastically different here.
Yeah.
There's structure to it. You know, obviously, the dogs will thrive under that structure, and it's just a more peaceful and enjoyable experience for everybody involved, humans and dogs included.
Yeah, because because look, aren't people are always going to think like the daycare's like that, they just stick them in a room.
Yeah.
But I want my dog to have fun, and I'm like, that's not always the most fun though.
Yeah.
Like come see the dogs here when they're going for a bike ride with you guys. You know what I mean? Or we're getting like a big social in the middle of nature out here. It's like, and that the structure, in my opinion, allows for like a higher level of fun and like enjoyment,
Like
because,
actual joy.
Yeah, because there's no we're not allowing these dogs to compete with each other, to start whining. We're really just holding them accountable, which makes them higher performing dogs for real.
Yep.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to, I would say. So that's what I love about this place too, and being able, and I would say like how much also we put into making sure the humans understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like first of all, the thing you said about quiet is such one that I don't even think about anymore. But we like the dogs are staying here, like technically at the ranch, and we're like living at this place too. Yeah. So to live here people probably think, how do these people sleep?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have all these dogs who stay there. How do they actually take a nap, or go to bed at night? Well, because they're quiet, the dogs. And that was one when I did the live in there, or that video I did with Nico when he was younger. I'm with Adam. And we're just headed back to the ranch. We've got the whole squad here, and then people in the comments are like, where's the barking? Like, are there actually dogs in there?
Yeah.
Like that, like so mad. I'm like, yeah, there's 20 dogs back here. What do you mean? They're all quiet. Well, how do they know? And why are they doing this? Because we told.
leave it there.
Okay. Can't get my hands up. No. I don't know what to do with my hands.
You have to do something with them. Let me touch
I don't know
this.
what to do with my hands. Okay, I'll just be like this. So anyway, what is he good? And he's like, so yeah, I had a good race, and then that's was it Ricky Bobby? Is it Ricky Bobby?
I think so.
Nights.
Talladega Nights. I love that shit.
Your dad was like, "Yo, move that mic." It looks fine on this angle, but for Instagram, it was a little bit in your face, so I adjusted it. Yeah.
Yeah, he just wants to see my beautiful face. That's why.
Yep.
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate that one.
Thanks, pops.
Are there messages coming in or questions coming in?
So I got something right here.
I'm having a
Yeah,
little,
you can ask them
little
too.
trouble
So
with
you
it.
guys, you answered one of these already. What was your outside perspective about pack leader dogs before joining the team? You answered that one, so
Yeah,
that was the question that I had for you. Now that you work here, how do you view the dog training world?
All right, that's a great question.
I know. Sorry.
How do I view the dog training world? Well, since working here, before I worked here, my knowledge of dog training was just limited by how much I had exposed myself to. So, I mean, I looked into Caesar, I read all his books, I read a few other dog books. I don't even remember the names of them anymore, but coming here, you immediately get exposed to all the different types of procedures, methods, mechanics of how to deal with dogs and how to address certain behaviors and stuff. So right away, my mind is broadened to all these different possibilities of what I can be doing with dogs in the first place. So my approach and my views on training have just broadened considerably since just even my first month here. And to now, it's like after I'm here, 2 years pretty much already?
Damn, that's crazy.
That went
Time
quick.
has
So
flown
fast.
by, dude.
The growth.
It's both sides though.
Yeah.
It's like for me, I'm like, wow, it's been holy shit. It's been 2 years, and I'm like, it's only been 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I've
feel
known
both
this kid
sides of it.
forever, like since he's been a little kid or something. Yeah, it's crazy. But
Yeah. I mean, like the amount of knowledge I have now, just because of what I'm exposed to and what I've been enlightened to since working here, has just drastically colored what I do with dogs and how I am around dogs and how I filter my own energy when I'm around dogs.
It's like the why too.
yeah.
You know, like not. I feel like so many trainers are just doing the thing that they like learned from somebody else, and they just do it. And then if you ever ask them, but well, why are you doing this like sit thing here? What is it? Well, the dog should just sit here. Well, why?
Right.
You
It's
know,
just
what's
what they
the
know.
purpose?
It's
Do you
what
know
they
that
expect.
the dog is stressed just sitting there? Yeah, but she should just sit there. Well, okay. You know, it depends on why. We're always like, why? And then and I want anyone here, and we are, in the mode of, well, why'd you do that with that dog? And there's an answer for it all the time. Or the answer may even be, I'm not even sure why I did that.
Right.
But let's figure out why you did it and see if it was the correct thing, and let's give some other options. You know, like the dog training world for me is like, this is what you do with the dog. This thing, this thing, this thing. But I think like the dog psychology world is more of like, understand the animal, understand foundation, understand like the fundamentals, the way this dog sees the world, the way this dog thinks. And once you understand that, go to obedience, go to sports, go to service dogs, go to, you know, like protection work, go to clicker training. You can go to any of them, but you have to understand the way the dog thinks and sees the world.
Yeah.
And how much your energy matters in this whole damn thing. You know, like Jamie's got terrible energy with the dogs, and we're trying to help her with that, but like, you know, it takes time, obviously.
For me, it's like, what am I trying to
It's only
accomplish?
taken me 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, with this dog, if I have any kind of dog and I'm saying, what's their issues here? Just first really building that relationship, getting to know the dog. Why are they displaying the behaviors they're displaying? And then what do I want to accomplish with this? And how I go about accomplishing that thing might be different from one dog to the next, because every dog is different, and every dog
And
needs
human,
a different
too.
approach. Right.
You know, it's a lot of times that where you know, people sign up for training with their dog and they say, okay, we'll do the training, and then the trainer does what they do.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like when the people come here, I ask them, well, what are your goals? Like, what is it that you are looking for? Because sometimes I have to understand. People need to understand expectations too when it comes to training, because sometimes they'll come in and be like, well, I want my dog off leash. And I'm like, okay, so let's understand. So you want an off leash trained dog, great. So you want the fucking whole thing. Okay, so where are we at now? Well, the dog is biting. It goes away. It bites me. Da-da. All right, so then I tell them, so based on that, this is what we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
So they have an understanding and expectation, right? And if they're like, well, I can't do that, great, let's lower the expectation then. And let's see what you're capable of doing. And if the expectation gets so low where it's like, I can't do any of these things you're asking me, great, let's now work on finding the right home for the dog then. Well, I would never do that. Okay, don't give me that high and mighty thing, because you're acting all like, I would never rehome my dog. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And you also wouldn't walk it, hold it accountable, do the feeding the right way.
Right, what's worse?
Wait at thresholds, put a leash on when people come over. Like, you're not going to do it. So don't give me that you're like, I would never. Because you would never also do the things that would actually make it good for the dog to be there.
Right.
So... And again, this is what I keep going back to over and over again, is how important compatibility is. It's like the thing. It's the whole thing. Like we get into a relationship with another person, like we're just, I like the way that looks, and it's history, like the breed. Like, what? Okay, then what? Is there anything else there? Like, you got to understand what the dog is and what the needs are. And that's the purpose of this stuff. That's the purpose of why we do this podcast, is so you guys are, I want people to be clear on what is expected when you get a dog.
Yep.
This is your requirement, your responsibility, but why me, poor me? Look, right away from the beginning, dogs hold people accountable.
Yep.
And you're not allowed to be a victim with your dog. Well,
That's true.
In the human world, like, this is being
a good
promoted.
quote.
It's being promoted right now at full fucking force right now to be a victim. You have no control. You're screwed. You can't do anything yourself. You need somebody else to do something for you to be able to get to that thing, which is completely powerless mentality. I'm like, no, you can do it yourself, actually. And if once you release that victim thing and you realize that I can do this myself, then you have all the power in the world. You don't need anybody else. And you have the internet, by the way, too. My God, like, you know how many people didn't have the internet to learn shit back in the day? Sometimes that's a counter. That, I mean, it's a, what is it, catch-22?
Well,
it's
we
like,
all remember that
Yeah.
here.
it's like information overload, too, though. You know, and that's what a lot of people our clients struggle with, is the information overload that they're getting from all these other trainers and stuff that are saying, do this, do this, do that. And you go to, like, what trainer is right? I don't even know where to look anymore.
Yep.
Right.
You know, and everyone can just go on the internet and say, I'm the certified this, and this is how it is. And when people talk with, like, certainty about shit, you're like, I don't know, these people seem like they are. But then I hear some of the things that they're coming with such certainty talking about the way the trainer said, and I'm like, no, that's really not good at all. Whoever told you to do that kind of thing.
But that trainer, I mean, that could be what they actually believe.
Correct. And this is the other thing, too, like, when it comes to that, is there's like no room for discussion in this world. Like when you were asking him about the trainer world, when Adam was asking you the trainer world, like that's the big thing for me is like how, to be honest, like the discussions when it comes to dogs, like it's more between us than like I don't really discuss with other trainers because it's such an ego world. Yeah. This trainer world of my way or the highway, and everyone like this. What's the word I'm looking for? I thought of a real vulgar one, but it's like like when they're competing with each other. I was gonna say the BD competition, like a big dick competition. No, whatever. It is what it is.
How do you know the acronym for that, bro?
Huh?
How do you know the acronym for that?
like it's like like who's the best? Who's the best? Who's the best? It's like, okay, I'm the best. Great, you won. So now what?
Yeah.
So, like billions of people need help with their dogs still. So I spend more of my time, like we spend more of our time with you guys, with the clients, with the people who really need the help. And not so much like trying to prove to others what we are. And if your trainer is out there trying to prove constantly how much better they are than the next one, like that's probably where the most of their focus is on their ego more than actually getting the results with you and making sure your dog is the best it could possibly be and the relationship's the best it could possibly be. Instead of people out there think I'm the best. Like, whatever, who cares with that? So what else? Are we doing the...
Questions?
Did you get any?
So check this out. Somebody just sent you, the one you sent me right now, Jamie. The one you just pointed me at. This is a video apparently that somebody just sent right now. Sending this question like this.
Megan was finished?
Can you read that? Can you read that from there?
So sending the question. Not sure if you'll see this on live, but Finn did something to his paw, and when he's sensitive or in pain, he gets so nasty with me. Obviously, I'm just trying to help, but not doing it correctly, looking for advice. I couldn't even get him to investigate if there was a glass or a bite of some kind. So I'm guessing that he's got something
going
issue with his paw, and she's trying to look at it, and he's probably getting a little bit protective.
We might not have audio here, but...
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
So, Dave, how would you go about trying to help him out there?
I mean, the first thing I would do would put a muzzle on him, like straightforward. Like, it's not good for me or the dog if there's like a bite happening. We don't want him to have that experience because I also don't want him thinking, okay, obviously something's wrong with his paw. Maybe he hurt it. Maybe something wrong with his bone, or he's got something stuck in his pad, and that sensitivity is making him feel a need to defend and protect himself, which is where he's like sending, his mom or whoever this is away with his mouth. So the first thing I would do, obviously, we would condition him to a muzzle and get him comfortable with that, so that doesn't add any more stress to whatever it is he's going through here. Keep everybody involved safe. Obviously, the way they're kind of holding him back here could be adjusted, I think.
Yeah, look at like he's sitting on someone's lap, and I understand they're probably doing that to like so she can hold or whatever it seems like.
Yeah.
But who's holding? You know what I mean? Like, how is she feeling about it? Is she feeling secure about holding him like that? Because that could be a piece of energy that could really be sending things off, and he could be like guarding himself, guarding mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see he just doesn't trust. There's something bothering him, and he doesn't trust what's happening here. He also feels trapped too. By the way.
Yeah.
He also feels trapped here.
And he's kind of like exposed with his belly showing and all that.
He's doing all that to just avoid like further pain or something with the paw.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so you can see like she has a finger in the mouth and he's not really biting down.
Yeah,
So he's not trying to hurt anybody. He's just like, hey, I'm uncomfortable.
And look at like when people see this, like the gums all up like that, people are like, holy shit. But that's like a lot of times also a dog who's even more nervous than anything.
Yeah.
Is they show all this because they got to show more because they don't actually have it in them to be like the ones who are quiet. By the way, watch out.
Yeah.
The ones who are just looking like this thing, like, yeah, come close. I dare you to touch my paw. I would 100% put a muzzle on way before that.
Right.
Daniela added in too. She said she's on the live, and she said it also looks like there's a light being shined on him, so it's like an odd energy coming his way.
Yeah.
It's like he's being
the light from the
down,
camera.
People are hovering kind of over him.
Yeah, over and it bothers him and it's painful for him. So
it's like sensory overload to an extent.
It's just a lot of stuff going on there. And look at and Megan there said that it's like he gets nasty with me, and yeah, he's not trying to be nasty though. That's the thing. He's just trying. He's saying right now in this moment, like, I'm dealing with pain and I'm not comfortable with the situation that's happening. So look, there are certain people.
look how quickly I responded.
That was good. Fuck, I was going to say that.
Sorry.
There are people.
there are scenarios where a dog might be like that, where they're anticipating something really bad to happen, that you can go through that and then they realize nothing bad happened. And that's what you're saying, like with the muzzle too and things like that. Because you got to remember, he's probably dealing with some sort of pain thing, but he also is showing that I don't trust the situation now, or I don't have enough respect for the situation, for this person to be touching me in this moment. So, that's one. This is why I say in puppyhood and stuff, and we actually worked with Finn in puppyhood during, like, we did the puppy package. We never really went over, like, nail trimming or any of that stuff. So I'm hoping that she did desensitization to the paws. But like with Nico, what I did since puppyhood was, I'd be playing with him or doing something, and I would come touch his paw a little bit and let go. Touch his paw, let go. Put him on a table, touch the parts of the body, and then reward him. Good boy. When I touch your paw, food comes. Or when I touch your paw, affection comes. Or I touch your paw, I throw the ball then.
Right.
Or creating a good association to it. So a lot of this crap can be prevented from puppyhood. Yeah. Then again, some may not be, like you might have, like for all I know, Megan did a ton of this desensitization stuff, but the dog is just in pain and doesn't like that scenario. So another good example there in that scenario might be just changing the environment. Like, I'm trying this for a while. This shit ain't working right now. So that's like a lot of like what I talked about of being creative and adapting, of like, this situation doesn't seem good right now. Let me not like, let me go to another thing. Right. But let me calmly like bring this over by his bed, or let's go outside and do this, or, finding a certain scenario, because dogs are some dogs are super different inside and outside. Yep. Like they'll be like super territorial inside, and they can be aggressive inside, and then they're like fine outside, or vice versa. Indoors, they're friendly, they trust, they're okay. And you bring them outside, they become nervous and aggressive. It's like, so the environment really matters. And that's what I would be saying. Like, look, most dog trainers are going to go to that you have, like, correct him either for that or poor baby, or like poor guy, right, kind of thing. And no, he doesn't like being done and all that. But the first thing I'm thinking of in my mind is, what is the energy of the humans doing this right now? And what have they done with this dog prior to? And I know them. I know they've done, and Finn comes to camp. We know Finn very well. So we know him. So it's very unlike him, too, to be like that.
Bizarre.
So,
I've never seen Finn like that.
No. So that tells me that this is the benefits of being involved in the camp, is that when he comes, we'll do shit with his paws, for sure, and start working him through that stuff. And then if it was going to be one that I was going to work with this guy, I would be sure to drain a bunch of energy first, get him like pretty tired, being in a more relaxed state. And you can also like ease him into this stuff. I know she's already in the thing where he probably has something there, but like with the other paws, touch his paw, good boy, and reward. Like just brief. And when they do this like pulling away thing, you just want to hold it until like the pulling away stops, and then they do that, and then you let go right there. Good, bam, and pay. Like that kind of shit. Yeah.
So we're trying to get the screenshots ready for you guys. So we're not over here talking about the weather.
I know.
So we're over here trying to get the screenshots ready for you guys.
But that was
so
perfect timing, though. Our responses were.
Yeah, you guys got a lot.
A little rude, but anyway. So, all right.
It's scummy, but it's okay.
If you want to ask that question for us, Jamie.
Yes. What's the best way to get experience if you are interested in learning from/working with y'all at the Maddie Ranch, but have no experience working with dogs?
No experience working with dogs. Yeah, where do you start?
Well, look, I can say that the first thing to start is start watching videos and reading.
Yeah.
We have plenty of videos, too.
Huh?
We have plenty of videos, too.
We have go through it, go through all the content. This is the thing. Okay. Let me get into this.
Look at all of our videos.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, but this is the thing. Like, because it really does matter who you're getting the information from. Because you could go say, all right, I'm going to follow this dog trainer and I'll watch all their shit. But it's like, fuck, are they doing the right things here? So finding someone with your independent thinking, not based on like some group or some people who said this is who you should listen to. Right. Of saying, does this feel right to me the way this person's talking about dogs, right? So I would go with that, is start getting information, learning, watching things, seeing things. If you can, I always say the volunteer route. If you can volunteer somewhere,
that's good.
That's an ideal way to do it, because now it's not about that person having to pay you for no skill.
Yep.
Because you're getting paid in knowledge. So look, when I first started working with Caesar, people thought I was nuts, right? Because people didn't understand. They would say,
people still think you're nuts.
Well, I am nuts. That's the problem. So, but people would think, why is this guy going over there for free to like do this stuff and be part of it and volunteer at a workshop? He was doing what? Like, why would you want to volunteer? That sucks. You're not getting paid. Mm-hmm. So then I go, well, you're focused on pay as money. I was focused on pay as knowledge when I went. Yep. So the value I was getting for what I was paying for a plane ticket, I wasn't paying for cars or hotel because I was sleeping on floors and catching rides. Food, I would try to eat as much as I could at the ranch when we were there. Thanks, Caesar.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I would eat as much as I could there and take shit home. By the way, for dinner. And I would skip breakfast. That's what I really would do, and I would go out there. So you can get the information by volunteering, or you got to find the right person. So that's one thing. The problem is we're not really doing the volunteer. A lot of people have been asking, see, this is my problem. It's like, I've said this stuff, and I said, like, to go volunteer, and then everyone says, great, I'll volunteer for you. And I'm like, we're just not prepared to do the volunteer thing yet, just because we're understaffed, believe it or not, and trying to, like, keep up with our schedule, that it would be, like, keep up with the schedule, and then on top of it, like, teach this other person. Right. It's just, it wouldn't be
really fair.
Yeah, because it's not fair, because I want them, if they're volunteering their time, I respect people's time. So if someone's volunteering their time, I want to be able to give them value out of that.
Right.
And not just be like, thanks for coming later, like kind of thing. So
you know what?
You get the people who ask me about the shadow program. People want to pay me.
So Emily's asking, are you going to start doing workshops? Well, one thing I can suggest too is following the team. So like, I know you don't post as much right now, but like, like Daniela, Christian, everybody's gonna start posting more stuff eventually, so you can learn from the teammates here.
And we're gonna do a lot of that on the Maddie Ranch page too. I want to do a bunch of that, like videos, instructional videos from the team. Because look, like I give you my perspective on it, and the team is going to do things super similar to me, but they might have different like. Okay, so like here's this dog doing this thing, and there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 as option. I might do number 3. Dave might do number 2 first, and neither of us could potentially be wrong.
Yeah.
With that way, you know what I mean? So. That's where you can see, like, all right, Steve would do it that way. Dave does it that way. Daniela does it that way. Christian does it that way. But it's all based on the Dog Psychology Foundation. You know what I mean? So I would say, okay, that's what I was going to get into before that, though, is when people say this stuff, and I'm not saying this to you, Emmy. Is the name Emmy?
Oh, Emmy, I'm sorry. I said Emily. Yeah, Emmy.
Yeah, I would assume it's Emily. I would say that it's, I'm not saying it's you, but a lot of people talk a certain thing and then don't do the action of that thing.
Right, I agree. Yeah.
So they say, like, you know, these are the people who come to me. I've tried everything. Really? Did you quit your job? Well, no. Oh, so you didn't try everything. Did you move? No. Oh, you didn't try everything. You know, so that's another one too, where it's like, yeah, I've done as much as I could of learning this stuff, and I'm done. Really? Have you been through every single one of even my videos? I'm just one person.
Yeah.
Have you been through all of Caesar's? Have you watched all of his stuff? You know what I mean? Like, I'm really a huge one. Dave, no. I'm really a huge one when it comes to this immersion thing, of immersing yourself in this thing if you really want to learn it. And why do you believe this? Because that's what I did. Not that I know all. It's just that from learning shit, like, to give you the best example, I think have I ever talked about when I worked at the batting cage?
No.
So, like, this was one for me that
I really, vaguely remember a little bit of this. Yeah.
Like, Anthony, who I used to work for at the batting cage, if you're watching this, thank you for giving me that job.
Nice.
Because it really taught me about repetition and immersing in it. So what happened was I was 18 years old, right? Or 17 going into 18-year-old, playing Legion baseball, working at the batting cage during the day, right? And that whole year of my 18-year-old year, which is the highest you can be in American Legion, I worked at the batting cage, and there was times as lulls, and you go to the cage, like there's people people aren't coming. It's 10 a.m. No one's coming yet, so everything would have been done, mostly done. Anthony, who I worked for, and then I'd be like, oh, let me just go hit until people come.
Right.
So I would literally go and hit in the cage, and every day I was taking round after round after round with no instruction. No one was really giving me instruction, but what I started like being able to, I could see the ball so well when I was hitting. That it went into my season that year. I was a pitcher, dude. That's what I played. Everyone knew me as a pitcher. I got scholarship as a pitcher. I wasn't a hitter. But that summer, I was like, they call it in baseball raking. It's like your bat's like a rake, and you just can hit everything. And I was hitting everything that he moved me up to like 4 and 5 in the order, like clean up and all this shit, the RBI guy, because I was mashing the ball nonstop due to being in there. I wasn't the greatest hitter. I really wasn't. But that year, I was a really good hitter because I immersed myself in that shit and I was doing it. So, again, the immersion thing, like, I think a lot of people are trying to be part-time dog trainer, part-time dog thing. And to me, that's a very, very challenging way to do it. Because even being with a dog day 1, and then you take a day off, and then day 2 you came back, 3 you came back, and you missed day 2. So much shit can happen in day 2.
There's a lot to say about that too. Like going back to me coming here is like the immersion aspect that you're saying. So like when I was at my old job, I was bouncing between that and doing acting. So I had like my acting career was my main thing, and I did this dog stuff on the side, or like to support my acting career. I never really considered it my full-time thing. And then I come to a place like this, and every day in, day out, I'm doing it, and I've become so much better at what I do because of it. And it's kind of like, you know, to echo what you're saying, it's like so many people have this, they have their full-time job, and they have a passion for dogs and working with dogs, and they love dogs, and they want to be able to help dogs and do that stuff and this thing, but they don't have the time to dedicate to it. So yeah, there's a lot to be said of like really immersing yourself in it as much as you can, and like living, breathing, and just, you know, being all about it. You'll get so much further with it.
And also being
full immersion, like you said.
Full immersion and being willing to take a step back in your life. Technically, it's like taking a step back because you say, you know what? I'm removing this other thing that was providing me this money. Which, by the way, that's like cutting the ties and like the life raft and all that thing. Which forces
the safety net.
It's pretty insane what happens to the human when there's like no reserve thing there. That it's like, fuck, now I got to go all in. I'm taking this shit seriously and I do it. You know. So I think it's a big one that, and it's very fascinating to me. Look, I would love to say that I was willing to take a step back to do that, but I really did it more because I was a crazy person back in the day. I was like, I can't fucking be at this job anymore. You know what I mean? And it's just not for me, and he didn't like my life and all that. And then I just immersed myself in it because I was, but in reality, in full honesty, I didn't plan on doing this as like my full thing. I'm like, I could walk dogs from 10 to 2 every day. So I work 4 hours, and I was like, all right, 4 hours, in a 5 day, it's 20 hours a week. And I could make like $100,000 doing that shit. I'm like, fuck, I'll just do that, you know. And then I could do but my mindset was still like, then I could also like
do
have
other
more time
things.
but be like, yeah, I could go bartend if I wanted to, or this and that and da. But then once I got into it, I realized how much I liked it. Immersed myself in it.
I still think you should be a bartender.
And you know what? Yeah, I know. I would love to be. But the real thing too was the immersion was like even signing up for Caesar's course.
Yeah.
Like having no money and swiping a card for 6 G's, I was like, damn, how am I going to pay this off? Now I'm in it. Now shit's on the line. So that also has helped me with things like buying ranches and building dog parks and all that shit. Because like, how are we going to afford this? I'm like, I don't know. Well, we'll just cut the lifeboats and figure it the fuck out.
We have another question that's actually a pretty good one. It's like a technical one.
So I don't want to leave
this is not
Emmy left there. The main thing I would say would be to immerse yourself in the information. I think it would be really good to be like, look, we have a lot of things coming. We've been talking about of making the instructional videos, and we're really like planning that out right now. I am on that. I've been taking a lot of time of thinking about what videos I want people to see, how we're going to shoot them. And you guys know me. I'm not playing the short game. So it's going to take a little while to do this because I'm playing long game and I want it to be done the correct way, the right way. So as much as you can get, and if you follow my content enough, you know that I mention other trainers, you know, and you can go look at some other work. But like we said, we're gonna have Dave on there. We'll have Christian doing stuff, and Dana and Daniela and the team here, Devin, everybody doing stuff. Jay doing stuff with the dogs that we can see how other of my team are doing stuff, you know, of our team, how we're doing stuff here. So that's what I was saying. Like Dave might be doing a little bit different. Jay might be. Everyone does it a little bit different, and as long as it ends the same way. Or the best way, and the foundation was the same. Yeah. You know? Which is what we care about is always bringing out the spirit of the animal, bringing out the dog for who they really are. Yeah. And getting people to see that, to be able to nurture that part. So that would be the main thing. And in the future, don't throw, I'm like looking at this, but just, but in the future, we are going to do that and bring back volunteer and shadow program. It's just, right now, it's been a little crazy, like of building up this ranch, staffing, the systems, the protocols, and all the things that are happening here. It's been a little chaotic. So we're going to open that up. And when I start doing group classes, sign up for them. Or, you know, one thing, this is something I just thought, it literally just popped in my head. People want to learn. It's like, what about going to a shelter, starting to work with a somewhat easy dog, maybe fostering an easy dog, and then you could always sign up for training sessions here.
Nice.
You know what I mean? That's how you're going to get a one-on-one. And it could be like, and if I get dogs like this in the future, that could be the session. Like, it's like, and if I get a nerve, and why'd you do that? And why'd you do this? And it could be with me. It could be with Dave. It could be with Christian and whoever, you know? So I think that's one.
Daniela was actually volunteering at a place. Danielle was volunteering at a place for a while.
Yeah, so one of our pack members, Daniela, was
Daniela.
Was volunteering at a husky rescue or something, and learned a lot from just being around the dogs. Just being around. Like, look, even Dave, he didn't have all the info about dogs and dog psychology and all that shit, but you were in it with dogs, and you'll be surprised when you immerse yourself in something about how you can figure it out. We talk about how adaptable dogs are. Do you understand how adaptable human beings are? Yeah, so adaptable. So if you're in it, you can adapt pretty well just being around it. But what I would say also is to, what happens a lot of times is people work with the easier cases for a while, and then they all want to say, I want to work with that crazy pity with aggression like you do, Steve. And I'm like, no, you don't. Trust me. That's a lot of shit to deal with that stuff. I want to work with that golden doodle with severe resource guarding, and he wants to bite.
They have to learn that on their own, though. That they don't want to work on them.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, because this is what I'm saying is when you deal with those dogs, is that can be a very humbling experience and one that a lot of people can't recover from. Mm-hmm. So when I, believe it or not, knew that I was made for this shit was when I got bit by that dog at the shelter years ago. And I had all these trainers reaching out to me, be like, "Oh, you're gonna, this is not easy to go through," and I really was like, "I don't know, I'm fine. I really don't." And they were like, "Oh yeah, you're just doing this ego thing, and you'll see, and you're gonna be nervous." And I'm like, "Now I'm really under this mentality of I made a mistake, I made the error, I know why I made the error, and now I learn from it and I move forward."
Yep.
So that's how I knew that I could deal with those kind of dogs. But to give you guys also a way that I'm leaning towards is I'm trying to get a little bit away from dealing with the crazy red zone dogs and stuff like that. And it's not because I don't care for them. I don't want to help them. I've helped so many of them over the years. We've helped so many of them over the years. It's just that it's like this equation where at the beginning of the funnel, it's being flooded with dogs and puppies. Flooded with them, right? Over here. And at the end, they're coming out with aggression, human aggression, resource guarding, separation anxiety, this and that. So, we're dealing with one with, red zone aggression, and then, 62 more just came into the equation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Came out the other side who also have aggression and also have all these issues, right? So I'm like, so how do we stop the bleeding? We need to go to the front end of this thing and start helping people really understand the dog. So that's why we give away this information for free, and I'm going to continue giving it away for free. And I want people to be able from getting a dog from puppyhood, and I want to start focusing more on puppies and younger dogs during this imprint period, so we can also stop the bleeding of this shit. Right. So this is the biggest public service announcement I can make is if you're thinking, that's why I did that one about creating separation anxiety, that post I did. I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah. How to create separation anxiety. It was do all this wrong shit and you'll get separation anxiety. Is I want from the beginning, before when the thought popped into your brain of I want a dog, to be okay, so now I need to spend X amount of time understanding this dog psychology thing, understanding and getting prepared. People get so prepared to have a baby, but then to get a dog, they're like, oh shit, I'm getting that dog tomorrow. Let's go get a kennel.
Yeah, or they get everything day of.
They
pick up the dog along with
on the way home. On the way home, so stop at PetSmart or Petco or whatever it is on the way home.
It never ceases to amaze you how impulsive people can be about bringing home an animal.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Or the famous of we were just going to look. Yeah. That's slash. I can interpret that in parentheses. We were definitely going to pick up a dog that day.
That's what women say, just to get their significant other to go with them.
That's right. 100%. Jimmy knows because she did that before.
Because they're once this guy or the girl is around the other dog,
gonna like it.
Now I can That's when I'm going to go to hardcore sales mode on that.
Right? Smart. Honestly,
exactly
smart move. But for me, I want people to really understand it and then be able to now I know prior to I select, because people are not even doing the selection process the right way. I want them to be from the get-go. Okay, I'm getting a dog. What's the right dog for me? Let me understand that first. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I want a dog with this type of energy. Okay, so do these breeds that I like, which one of these breeds that I like or looks fits into that thing? Yeah. The Corgi and the Shepherd and that all fits in. So which one do I like out of these? What's available? Who can I, and then you find the right dog for you. Spend that time, because by the amount of time that you have to spend in rehabilitating a dog, redoing the relationship, overcoming anxiety and aggression and fear and insecurity, all that shit takes so much fucking time. Mm-hmm. So instead, do it on the front end. Just be proactive about taking the time to really do it right in puppyhood, through adolescent and all that.
Somebody was asking for the cliff notes on that answer. It's what question are we answering?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Do you guys want to do a quick rapid fire? of questions. We'll run through at least 3 or 4, and then we'll go in. Do you want to read the one that's pinned on there for now? It's a technical question.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
That was from Lexi, right?
No, it's pinned on there currently. You'll see it.
I can't see the whole thing.
It's Duval 9. So specific, but could you demonstrate the angle we should create when popping the leash? Mine always slips down with Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson. So Wilson was that's Louise with Wilson, who we had on the ATV. Yeah. So she's asking what the leash angle.
Yeah, like when you pop a leash. Yeah, when you pop a leash. Like what
she says it's sliding down too.
Right. If it's sliding down, you're pulling backwards. So that's what most people are doing is they end up thinking they're pulling up or pulling like away or whatever, and they end up pulling back. So if you think about it, where's my fake ass dog?
I was gonna say, you want the dog?
Yeah.
You want a leash?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you a leash.
Oh yeah. Sit.
Do we get to use him?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they can see this thing.
Have we named this guy? He has a name?
We haven't. He still has the tags on.
Melissa and Doug. There's a name.
That's the brand.
Very quiet and still though. You gotta be careful. Remember I was talking about that aggression thing?
Yeah,
This is
be careful.
Very still. Watch out. All kidding aside, if this was a real dog behaving like this, I would be like, hey, like settle down. Dude. Why are you being like this?
Yeah.
Like, don't be so tense. You know. It's like weird to be around this picture, this the visual. Of
well,
this
he
thing.
can't help it, but
Yeah. Like, hey.
If I could be honest with you, a couple times I sat here and I was like, wait a minute, is this dog looking at me right now? It feels weird. It honestly feels like you look over to the left, look over to the right, and it's still looking at me.
All of a sudden starts barking and shit. Okay, so let me do it like this.
Hair and everything.
dog trainer Johnny is asking what's the name. We don't have a name for him just yet.
So the tag's not showing?
Yeah. We'll just take this tag off.
Well, if you're keeping
Oh, sorry, buddy.
We're keeping it now.
Yeah, now we're keeping it.
I wish I had a remote for it.
Look,
That would
leash.
be great.
I don't know. Can they see me? Yeah.
Yeah.
The leash, top of the neck, right? This is where, and this is another one that people they put the leash on, and then like it's like this. They're like, yeah, my leash is on, and I'm like, but look it down here, how low it is, and then I tell them to adjust it, and they bring this part up, but they don't do anything about the underneath.
Right.
So I don't know if you can see this.
That's a good note. Yeah.
Like they go,
We can
okay,
definitely
like
see
pull
that.
it up, and they go this, but look at the bottom, it stays there, and then they go to pull, and the thing just rides back down to like what it was, you know.
Yep.
So when I'm putting it on, or our team's putting it on, we put it up here first, and I'm like underneath, like getting it right underneath the jawbone, you know, like right behind the ears. This is so bizarre. This dog is like the eyes are so fucking realistic.
It does look
telling
like
you,
I'm being
dude.
stared down.
You
Right?
see what I'm
Dude,
saying?
over
I told
there.
you. It was
And I'm
weird.
like, even like as I'm moving the ears, I'm like, oh, he's tense. Like,
Yeah.
like, he's uncomfortable. But that's another one too. Like even like you got to zoom in on these eyes at some point because like the eye is like realistic and that's like a big one for me is like when I look into a dog's eyes.
Right.
Yep.
You know, when I'm like looking at the eyes, you can tell you a lot if you can understand it, if you've seen it enough. You know, like when we look at it, I'm like, he looks concerned and this, and people say, why? What about him? I don't know. He's looking right at you. It's just like I know the whole face and everything, but the eyes look concerned.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so
Someone asked, did you invite him on the couch, Steve?
yeah,
He
breaking all
put
the
him on the
fucking
couch.
rules here. Adam invited him up and put him invaded my space and shit.
No, that was Dave. We're gonna blame it on Dave.
Okay. So up here, right, leash on top. So what most people do is they go this, they pull back. At this
Especially
angle.
because the dog is ahead of them already.
Yeah, so
They-
like the dog gets ahead. So look, even where my angle would be, like they're walking here. So from this angle, when the dog is, this is not the easiest, sitting and like here, but
Right.
when I'm sitting here and I'm walking, if my leash pressure is here, this is where I would be walking, like right here. I can go up from here, and if the dog goes ahead of me, then I'm pulling at it, like not pulling, but using pressure at an angle. You see what I'm saying? Like this way to the side. Side or up is what I'm always doing.
Right.
Side or up. Back is no good because you create oppositional reflex. The dog tries to pull forward, and then this thing starts riding down. The more you're doing it, see, pull. This is like in a good spot. It's like in the slot here, but it would normally keep coming down. Coming down. And you're like, yeah, this thing never stays up because look at the angle. You're pulling back.
Yep.
Pulling back. And even worse is when you're along the spine. So what I mean by that is right here. When you're on the leash and you're pulling it, the leash is equal to being along the dog's spine. So pulling back, this dog will have so much leverage when you're pulling back from this way. Right? See the leash like right along the spine here? This is like all their weight they can pull forward and lean forward into it. So from here, this is the angle you need to the side. Look, I can move them so easily just like that.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm pulling.
Yeah, and he's staying.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool to show that even with the
look.
dog. Yep. And you killed him.
Thank you for the help. But yeah, that would be for me. If let's just say the dog is facing that way, right, and I was going this way, and he's focusing that way, or whatever. I'm gonna try to do something to the side, just to create what, and then once I get that attention, I'm gonna do something with it. I might bring food, I might bring a toy, I might bring my own motivation or something else to that scenario. But that's the most common one, why the leash rides down the neck. And by the way, certain dogs, it just does. Like Nico, the shepherd, it always rides down the neck. Some of the boxers and certain dogs, that the leash just rides down, doesn't sit very well. So you could also consider doing the 8 on the dog too, that way too. Here, let me show that one too. You want to show it?
Yeah, sure.
Do you remember it?
Do I remember the figure 8? Let me see. So figure 8's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Just make a nice big loop.
Yeah.
You got your big circle there. I'm trying to stay in the microphone. So here's your big loop. You take your hand, flip it over. That's your figure 8.
Next one.
And the small loop of the 8 goes over the nose. And you would take your leash and retighten it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's perfect, by the way. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's perfect. It's fucking PLD team. What do you expect? Yep. Another one that you can do. So some dogs, believe it or not, this is a good one for the trainers too. Some dogs are very sensitive to having shit on their face, and a lot of times they're sometimes like they're going to give you a certain level of protest. Some dogs are just like, what is this thing on my face? Like, get this thing off of me. And other dogs will be like, I will rip my dew claws out and destroy my face to get the shit off my face right now. Mm-hmm. And they'll like go on the ground and do all that, right? So for those dogs, you may need a little bit more of desensitizing them in the home and just putting it on for a second, taking it off shit.
Yeah, just to be clear, I would never have this dog like out on a walk with this leash and then all of a sudden just throw this at them out. Like,
out
on a walk out of nowhere.
Correct.
It's like, let's see how they just do with this now.
Yeah.
No.
That would be like
do it beforehand, prep them, make sure they're comfortable with it, and practice indoors where they can't just slip right out and that happens on you.
Yeah. Or you might be on the walk and be like, all right, I'm on the walk and this dog really is like doing a shitty job with this thing. He's already been desensitized to the slip or neck pressure or whatever like that. So we're going to have to make a change, but not making it in the middle of the walk, especially if you have other dogs there, because this guy might say, get this shit off of me. I don't want this thing on me. And he starts having a meltdown where the other dogs are like, what's going on here? And they want to get involved and all that. So that's like taking a mental note and they say, all right, we're going to work on this guy on that. So that's what's always going on here is like, we look at these as like, it's like not an experiment, but you know what I'm saying? It's like a project that we're trying to like find the best possible way to complete the project, you know? And it's like, wow, we're noticing this part. So this guy would be good for that because blah, 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 or this might happen or whatever. So that's to me like one. And then what I was saying for the tip for the trainers and even for you guys at home with your own dog is doing this with an additional leash. Mm-hmm. So if I was going to do this part with him, and this is something that I've done, and I thought everybody in the world would do it, but like everyone was like, wow, like the trainers were saying this is the greatest idea ever. Put first on a regular slip lead, a flat collar, a martingale, whatever the normal tool is that you use. Then come with a second leash, which is this thing that's going to sit on the face. So why? Why do you think I would do that?
So if I'm using this leash, say I have a second leash here, just the regular leash on him, the imaginary, and I start using a little bit of pressure with this leash, and he doesn't like it. So he starts using his paws, trying to get it off. Instead of putting more pressure with this leash, we'll just increase his, proclivity to start doing those behaviors. I'll correct him or, use this other leash that he already is used to guide him back to the behavior I want. So easing him into it. So if he's going to throw anything at me where he's just like, I don't want this on my face, or instead of using more pressure on this, it'll just bring out that more. I'll go back to the tool he's already knows and comfortable with to help him introduce this to this leash, or this configuration of this leash in a more healthy way, in a way that they'll understand better and ease him into it.
Because if he's resisting that tool, if he's resisting the tool, and then we start interrupting him and correcting him by adding more resistance or more pressure to that tool, he's going to resist the tool more.
Yep.
And listen, that will happen, by the way, at times. Excuse me. That will happen at times where you do that and they resist, and then sometimes you have to maintain that, and then it locks them kind of thing. That will be a part of the equation, too, because eventually we have to start putting some pressure on that, But it might be the first walk you go and you don't even use it. Another good tip is when you're going to do this thing, is to do it in grass. Or do it in an area like dirt or sand or something else. Because what can happen is sometimes the dogs try to get it off, and they'll do these like ridiculous, dramatic, like trying to put their face on the floor thing, and they'll scratch all their nose up doing it that way too. So that's another good tip, is maybe do it in the grass or do it in an area, like walk around in the park with it, you know, because they do have the ability to get into this resist mode, like get this thing off my face. Yeah.
What's the next one, Jamie?
Somebody actually put on here, can you make a video on desensitization with the figure 8?
I'm not the only one who has a problem with that word. This is good. Yeah.
Maybe we should do a video. That's a good one.
Yes.
We do have something on that.
I'm sure
it was with 2 leashes
we made a
in the
figure 8,
video.
but we didn't do it. Did we do a 2-leash thing?
No, not with you, but with Steve, it was like a quick clip.
I'm sure I did it. I probably did it. Well, I did it on the podcast of showing how to do it with 2, but I'm sure that in some of the dogs that we worked with, I showed the double leash thing somewhere along the lines.
Absolutely.
But that is a good one that I can do. Like, I'll do it with a new dog too, or you guys do it with a new dog that comes in, that we're like easing them into that stuff, so we can show that. So yes, we will make that video.
Nice. Just let me know the name of the question you want. The name of the person.
What was it? You could just go through them.
Okay.
Are we still live?
We are still live.
Mm-hmm.
We have 33 people on here.
Yo!
It's really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Maddie Ranch picking up.
I don't know about this one.
I think we've answered this one quite
right,
a few
cool.
times before. Oh, it's the same one. This one. Recently took in a dog, will be 2 in June, and his past owners never walked him. He isn't treat motivated and only concerned with everything around him. How can I start working with him on walks?
I mean,
But yeah,
it's kind of a loaded question because it's hard to. There's
what's he doing?
Right. There's a certain amount of things where there's giving a blanket statement of advice here can be a little bit problematic because we don't see the dog, like what's he afraid of, what's he concerned with. But if it's generally like, a fearful dog or, just back of the pack nervous energy, again, it's kind of like really easing him into it. So if you're using a slip lead, I wouldn't start with this. I would just kind of have this just on the house first, right? And getting him used to just walking on a leash without being in the environment that's causing him to be so concerned or so uncomfortable. Again, kind of getting that process down. So it's doing some turns inside your house or your yard if he's okay in the yard.
That's like the you guys hear me talking about the long line work.
Yeah.
Longer line work. And you can do it with 1 leash. You can just do it with 1 leash. But sometimes for those flighty, nervous dogs, like a longer line to give them more space to like get rid of this nervous energy is very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. And start getting him used to it, in an environment that's not going to really start freaking him out more. And then,
I'm assuming that's what she's saying. Like, I mean, and he could just be excited as fuck about everything too.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a different scenario. That's the thing, is like that question could go. I'm sure you're thinking the same thing. Is like, are we talking about a dog who's like so focused on everything else because he's nervous about everything else, or is this a dog who's never seen anything? Is like, party! I'm gonna jump on you and bark at you, because it's like how I would approach those dogs is very different.
Yeah, exactly.
You know she just put in another comment. Lots of pulling, not listening, not fearful, just overly excited.
Okay, yeah,
I have
so
a collar and a harness for him.
Collar and a harness?
And a harness.
Yeah.
Well, just so you know, harness is made for pulling.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're using the harness, then it's going to only encourage him. It goes back to what we were saying with like pressure along the spine. Like, it gives them all that leverage. That's what a harness will do. The harness goes here, and it's like attached to their one anchor point where they can really put all their weight into pulling forward.
Yeah, like you want to know the strongest part of a dog. No, I'm still like grabbing the dog by the tail. The strongest part of a dog is right here.
Right behind their shoulders.
Why do you think they put those for the weight pulling competitions? They clip them right there. Bam.
Not just dogs, but donkeys and all this.
Yeah,
any animal.
human.
Harnesses were designed to help
right
animals
here, and I'm gonna
carry
pull you
things
from
and pull
yes.
things.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're putting pressure on a dog who's so excited or so determined to get that way, and you're pulling back, you're only increasing the drive to continue pulling harder and harder.
Yeah.
And what happens after 10, 15 seconds? Most people just say, okay, fine, and they give up. And the dog's allowed to, if I just pull this hard, I can get to what I want.
So the opposite of pressure.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
we want. So the dog realizes I put pressure on the leash, and the human yields to my pressure.
Right.
As opposed to when I put pressure on the leash, I put pressure, the dog should yield to the pressure. Not like that, but the dog should yield to the pressure. Yeah. And by the way, how many dogs do this? Come on, buddy, go this way. No, I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
They flop
They
over.
protest by falling.
Yeah, so then what do people do? They go like this. Like, have you ever seen the videos where people are videoing from like a hotel or something, and the dog just lays on the ground and won't go? And how many people ask me, my dog won't walk, just won't go? Because they're doing this. So when the dog lays, it's like, I'm not moving. And they're going, come on, come on, come on. So right there, I just did 3 times of applying pressure and asking the dog to come, and then I let go of pressure.
Yep.
So I yielded to him resisting. And they're doing it over and over. So a dog like that who's doing that, I would just be here, and I would be slowly increasing the pressure. So he's going to start going like this. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it. And then he's going to go up like this and then go to get it off and take a step forward. And then I go, whoop, and drop the pressure on the leash right away.
Yep.
So he realizes, when I take a step forward and follow, that's when the pressure comes off. Yeah.
Crystal clear.
And look, I'll tell you also, like, the leash handling is a fucking skill. It's a big time skill. And people think like, I just want to walk my dog good on leash. And they're grabbing the leash. It's like, it is something that takes a long time to master. And in my opinion, I'm watching a lot of dog trainers, and I'm like, this person's not a good handler at all, as far as I'm concerned. And I've seen it at TCW. I've seen it at the workshops I go to. I've seen it buying people's courses that they're selling people and saying, this is how you walk a dog. And I'm like, you don't even know how to walk the dog the right way.
Yep.
Or very well, I shouldn't say. You know, I'm not trying to like talk shit either. I'm just saying that to be putting out information and charging for it, you better know what you're doing, because that's your one shot. Because this is my I don't know if I should use this whole.
Maybe let's not go down.
We'll do this another time, but
that's something you've always said. So many people that either want to join the team or when they start here, and, we would start with dog walking.
Yeah.
And like, but I don't want to just walk. And you said you don't know how valuable that is to just walk dogs.
That's what I'm saying. Is like
it's an essential skill. When
it's
you're
so it's
with
like
a dog.
everything comes down to the walk or handling skills. Like, give me pretty much most dogs and a rope, which is a slip lead, and I could make shit happen with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. It's just that I've focused so much time, and I put a lot of pressure on these guys to keep focusing and working on your leash handling. And we've been talking about ways that this is literally today I put in the Slack, of ways that we're trying to figure out how I can work more with everybody and keep getting the skills better and better and better and better, so we can be all elite handlers. I don't say like when I'm here, like I want you guys to all be elite trainers. It's like you're gonna be. If you're an elite handler and you understand dog psychology, you're gonna be great with dogs. The next step is being able to convey the message for humans. That's a whole different game. Is being able, you obviously understand that, is being able to convey that message for humans to see in a simple, clear way, not a trying to be science professor way to look smart way. Because that's not smart. It's fucking stupid to tell people, well, the negative reinforcement of why I did this was, the person's just like, I don't even know how to like put the leash on the dog, and you're talking all this shit. I'm overwhelmed. I'm zoning out, and I have no idea. And I feel like I'm stupid. And I'm like, I don't want anyone to ever feel like that who's working with us with dogs. You know what I mean? So that's why we try to relate with them and say, look, I was in your position at one point. I was on the front lawn of my parents' house trying to get fucking our dog trained. Not me, my parents. I've seen all the stuff. I want to give you the real stuff so you understand it at a deep level, kind of thing. Yeah. Next. So come on, dude. Pay attention.
Okay, my parents' dog has never growled at me, but now when I tried to take his bone away, he did. Yep. Please help me what to do with him. We also have little kids coming in this house, so this cannot happen anymore.
Yeah, that's resource guarding 101. You said your parents' dog. Is it a dog you interact well with?
Yeah, like how's your relationship with
them? Do you have a relationship with your dog? Is this a dog you see very often?
Does it do it to them?
Right, yeah.
Is it just you? How is your approach that you're going to take?
This is what I'm saying. You have a question like this. It's a great question.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
This
is the whole fucking show, right?
It's like there's so many other questions that need answering before we give you the proper advice.
What I'll say is now you get to see into even the way Dave's processing these information, these questions, is how we're literally the FBI investigator. Not literally, but we are like FBI investigators, really finding why is this happening? Where did it come from? Where did it start? There's so many other questions that go into before let's come up with a strategy. What?
No, Adam's closing the window. I was just laughing.
Too cold. He's breaking your balls.
No, I knew it was gonna come at some point. Like, it's getting a little bit chilly in here, so I just closed it.
That was a whole thing before the show on should we open the windows or not, and they were going back and forth about who gets cold, who gets warm, and shit. And then Adam was the one closing it, and he was the one who says that he gets warm.
No, I was doing it preemptively because I knew it was going to come from her. I started feeling it.
I already had goosebumps.
Yeah, the goosebumps. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm already knowing.
I'm just dealing with.
All right, so then what we'll do from this point forward, we'll put you on the we're going to put you on the treadmill during the podcast.
So yes, keep it warm.
Yeah, workout.
Yeah, sure. I might need that.
Not fulfilled. She's not fulfilled.
She needs one of those things that your cousin Lou was saying.
What?
The snuggie things, the
sweater, the whole. What was he calling it? Like whatever.
I forgot what it was. Like it's like
a snuggie thing or whatever.
Yes, but it has a hood on it and everything.
Oh, I need one of those.
It's like a giant like blanket. You get a fleece blanket
that you wear.
Has arms.
Yeah, that you wear.
Like a snuggie.
Yeah.
I need one of those.
Okay, so for this, we got to figure out And what's your approach to trying to get the bone, too? Like, are you just going to take it?
Yeah, you're just going straight towards the dog and saying, what happens if I try to take this from you? Because that's like a recipe for I'm going to guard it from you.
Yeah, because it could be like, well, how would you feel if you didn't know me and I just came up to you and just started trying to take your phone from you?
Right.
Damn, he said the phone, too.
Yeah, but think
like
about it.
Very personal thing there.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, but that's really what it is nowadays. It's like the phone is to everybody's like, oh my god, what am I doing without this phone? And when a dog has a bone chewing on it, it's like, don't touch my fucking bone. That's my bone.
It's very valuable to them.
It's valuable. So how was the bone given to the dog? By the way, that's a huge one that no people talk about. Is like my dog resource cards. How do I get it from them? Well, let's go way back. How's the relationship? Does the dog believe you as leader? Is this the only area that this is happening? Right. Are you setting this dog up for failure by saying, here, take this marrow bone and let me try to get it from you? What? That's like how I would say, like, okay, that's the next video. How to start resource. You know what's funny? This is funny. Is that I did that video, the husky video on how to create separation anxiety, and Christina sends me a video of like a similar husky, but doing it with like food, like grabbing food like at that was like the other one I did with the lab puppy who attacks the other husky and shit. Yeah. And I don't know where the fuck these people are doing this with these dogs, but. She was like, you should do one on how to create resource guarding, because since people are creating it all over the place, you should show them how to do it the right way. You know what I mean? If you want to do it really well, that's going to be one that would be like, so when you get your dog, do all the same things. Don't focus on leadership, affection, emotions, give them stuff, and then make sure you rush in and try to take it from them. Make sure you give it to them excited and when they're protesting and demanding it, you know? And then let them get in, run away, and then chase them. Go try to take it right out of their mouth. That's perfect recipe for a resource guard.
For the next one that we create, we're going to do a voiceover of you saying all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I like that you're using other people's footage, but maybe we can do like a proper video for that, explaining that.
Yeah. Yeah, because and I talked about, too, like how people are creating resource guarding even in playing games with a dog.
Right, yeah.
You know, like how the dog comes and starts bringing the toy back, and the human rushes and puts their hand right to the face to try to take it.
Or like playing tug within that kind of thing.
They turn into a competition game in that thing, too. Yeah. They're not teaching. Like, for me, I mean, that's the one I talked with, who was I talking to about this? Somebody. I think Larry Crone, to be honest. I said something. He was saying, like, or I heard him say this recently, where he said, like, one of the first things I teach my puppies is out. Mm-hmm. The out command, just drop it, whatever you want to call it, like how to let something go. That's for sure something that I have to do better about, like explaining to people. Like that's something I definitely did with Nico. When we do like all the instructional videos, I'm going to be thinking about, now that we've had Nico for a year, it's like, what did I actually do with him? Because I was like thinking in my mind, like, what did I do the first day?
It's just natural.
It's just so second nature. Yeah. You're just in it in the moment with the dog. Yeah. Like you don't go take Willow, your dog, and be like, all right, so how do I put the leash? And you just like put the fucking leash and go for a walk. You just do it. And
second nature.
Second nature. Why though? Because in the beginning, was it a second nature? No. It was I got to think about this and make sure am I doing this the right way? And then you start seeing the results and start feeling it, and then it just becomes natural because you're in it and immersed in it. Yeah. So wait, do we even answer the question?
Vaguely.
I mean, check. Because we need more info.
Yeah, we do need more info to kind of give you like a direct approach to what to be doing with this.
And what's the dog like? Is he a nervous dog?
Right.
He's likely a nervous dog, but is he insecure? Is he on furniture? Does he sleep in bed with the owners, with your parents? What's your relationship with this dog? Like, how much time do you spend with this dog? So we can do a follow up on this one too. But those are all out of the questions. That's a good one to see for like the other dog trainers who watch this, to see like how we're processing it and breaking that part down. That they should be asking these questions too. Yeah. Not like, because most people go like this. They say, oh, the dog has resource guarding protocols.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, what dog? And who's the owner? Where did it come from? How long has it been doing it? How intense does he get about it? Is he biting? Is he biting with, like, what level of bite? Is he trying to bite with intention to hurt somebody, or is he just snapping? You know, like...
Right. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Is it stronger with dogs or with people? Like, there's so many different things. What's this guy's exercise schedule? Is guarding the bone or his way of fulfillment? Yeah. You know, a way to...
His outlet.
To release energy and shit.
Hopefully that helped you guys out a little bit. We're gonna move kind of quickly through these.
Just real quick, I hope this goes without saying, but when the kids do come in the picture, no bones with the dog.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Don't give them the opportunity to have that setback or that failure. Because and this is something that actually happened with my first dog, my family dog. My best friend had his little brother over, and we gave him a bone, and my best friend's little brother went over to pet my dog when he was eating it, and got him really good. Yeah. So. Knowing all I know now, I wish I could go back and do all that stuff over again. But just don't give them the opportunity to kind of get into that with the kids around.
Without a doubt. Yeah, and also maybe consider not giving this higher value thing to the dog if you don't have leadership yet and you haven't learned. So you can practice like teaching a dog how to give up lower value objects
Right.
and lower value things, you know? So that's like something a lot of times I'll do with like the resource guarding dogs when we get them is like, let's go play a game, something that's not as serious for you because you resource guard food. Let's get you to do an out and back up off of a ball.
Yeah. A ball first, maybe a ball with a rope on it or
a
something
rope
before going to like a
using long line and bringing them in.
Yeah.
And this way they get into that routine and then they have at least something to base off when we do like the same. And then you do the same thing with the food. Now, back up. Good boy. And you give them the food back.
Yeah. At least they know what to expect now that you've worked on it with
that's a
something
video
that's
we
not
have
as
to
high value.
Correct. Correct. That's a video we have to make on how not to create resource guarding because that's a fucking bad one. Like resource guarding is not fun to deal with for people.
And it's also like a tough one for the average person who doesn't have a background in dog psychology or dog training. That's a tough spot to get into with your dog.
Yeah, because the dog is coming and saying like, now that you've created this in me, now that shit is mine.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go to aggression to defend it. So
this is a really good segue. This one.
Okay.
It goes right into the thing that we're talking about. You want to ask it, Jamie?
Yes, and our positive
reinforcement.
trainer said that when mothers use corrections on
Which
pups,
is bullshit, by the way.
they tend to have more aggressive tendencies as adults. What is your opinion on this?
And say this again now. A positive reinforcement trainer said that when mothers use corrections on pups, they tend to have more aggressive tendencies. Or I would disagree with that because based on what? Who's like?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to.
She's whoever's saying that is likely making something up to fulfill a ideology. That's what they're doing. So to get into that part first, for me, it's like the ideology people steer clear. I'm talking for everything too.
Yeah,
I'm talking for like whatever the fuck you're doing. I mean, when it comes to like working out, yeah, I know we're like working out, whatever. Like the CrossFit people, like we're CrossFit people. Like that no way you should lift that weight. No way you should box or like So this kind of thing is like it's likely that they're like whatever. Anyway, my point with this is that that's a bunch of bullshit, and to me, like this tells me too the video that I did years ago. Remember that golden retriever with the puppies, and I'm posting it wow, finally a great example of like a mom. It's a great way to show how she doesn't see them as cute little puppies, and she sees them as these are my pups who I have to apply rules, boundaries, limitations with, so that I can hold them accountable, so they're well-balanced dogs when they grow up, right? So that is a bunch of bullshit. And the reason I'm saying that is because on the flip side of that, talk to me about the dogs who get removed from mom too soon.
Yeah, that was the thing I was going to say is that if anything, in my opinion, I mean, not that I've seen many like mother dogs with their pups grow up like that, but I would venture to guess that puppies who are, like you said, removed from their moms too soon, those are the ones that are having, behavior issues and stuff like that because they haven't had those limitations and those boundaries put on them in the, earliest imprint period,
Man. That was like
in
one
way that they understand best, which is, whatever it is, a correction from mom or whatever.
I said this literally today in an assessment for a board and train. I said, so I started asking about where they got the dog and this and that. They were like, it came from the South. And they were like, yeah, well, no, but we got it as a puppy. I'm like, I know, you got it as a puppy, yes. But where was he before this?
Right.
Was he removed? Because it's another one of these from the South. By the way, South, can you get a hold of your fucking dogs there and sending them up here? Because we got our own issues up here with dogs, But
they have the land for it probably.
I know. And they got better weather, too. It's
right.
Like, and setting it up to the cold to us to deal with and shit. But, oh, fuck, I forgot what I was saying there. This is how my mind goes, too. It's like, it's fried. But we were saying the positive thing, mothers use correction.
Where did the puppy come from?
It's like I use the analogy of like a child who grew up without an authoritative figure in the home.
Yeah, you said that today.
You know what I mean? Who then grows up to going into school and class, and the teacher says, okay, this, and then why?
Yeah.
Says who? Fuck you. Like that kind of thing. It's like, because they've never learned authority. No one ever held them accountable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Never hold them accountable for their actions. So they say, I can do whatever I want. Don't tell me what to do. You're going to know. By the way, you're probably thinking, oh, I know people like that. Yeah, I know. And then go look at the parenting growing up. Was there an authoritative figure in the house? That's a good one to see. So it's the same thing with a dog who grows up without mom teaching rules, boundaries, limitations, by the way. Because a mom who doesn't correct. And by the way, this is what I was going to say too. Use corrections. So talk about context. That person, R+ trainer, is already going to have a negative connotation of a correction.
Right.
You know what I mean? So good luck with that if you want to stick with that way and saying and like go tell the mommy dog who's the pup is like feeding too hard and she goes, enough, too much, you're biting too hard. Go tell her, hey, no corrections. This is positive only. We're an ideology here. We're not allowed to do that stuff. She's like, that puppy was like, shut the fuck up. This is what we do. This is what nature told me to do. Yeah. This is my kids. Don't tell me how to raise my kids the right way. You know what I mean? I'm holding my kids accountable. I want them to raise the right way. So that's why, I mean, that is it possible? Look, if you get a dog whose mom has issues
right.
and is over
dog?
The top,
right.
then okay. So which one are we talking about? Are we talking about a healthy mom who is, for the most part, raising the pups in a great way and holds them accountable, does some interruptions here and there, growls at them, a little barking, this and that? I think that's fantastic for the dog. Because that video, I was so shocked. Talk about not understanding. I was shocked by the amount of people who were shaming the golden retriever mother. Mm-hmm. What kind of mother would do this? How she's aggressive, she's this. And meanwhile, the breeder who talked about it said this dog is the sweetest dog that we have. Yeah. Like, is like super friendly, great dog, this and that, and is actually one of our best moms.
Yep.
And raises some of the best pups of all. So that's just one where she's got this. I don't even know what that means, by the way. Positive reinforcement trainer. So I am too, because I use primarily positive reinforcement.
Right.
So we all are, apparently. It's just to agree what level. And if you say I'm only, you're a liar. Mm-hmm. Let me come see your dogs, and I'll mention about 50 times in about 20 minutes that you'll use negative reinforcement. You'll use negative punishment.
Positive punishment.
Positive. Yeah, they will. And they won't even realize they'll do it.
Yep.
That's the thing. They're not even realizing they're doing it. They're so tied into like what it means and what I'm part of and this like way, as opposed to, well, like let's hold off on that. Is it the right way? Is it the only way?
Yep.
You know? And then I'll tell you also, these people who say science is proven, they're already saying they don't understand science. The science is always evolving, nonstop. Because at one point, science, I always love this saying, science said have a few cigarettes a day. It's good for you. It's actually healthy. Better for you. So follow that science. Science proves cigarettes are good. So go rip cigarettes all day and let me know how that works out for you. You know what I mean? For real. So this is something also I talked to Caesar about, and something I was talking to you about when we went to the Hamptons for that dog.
Sounds kind of bougie when we went to the Hamptons. Yeah,
I know. Well, it wasn't that. It wasn't bougie because we had to drive 4 hours each way to go out there to do that. So yeah. But what do we do the whole time? We're listening to dog training podcasts and talking dogs. We're pausing it and like that's what we're doing behind the scenes. You know what I mean? That's what goes on here. Is like we're listening to that stuff and being like and floating ideas and all that shit. But where was I going with that one now? I'm all over the map today.
The science part of it.
Science part. Is that like eventually I want to fund our own studies?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and this is the thing also about studies, and they actually talked about it on the podcast, was like the funding of studies.
Oh yeah, that's
the
a big one.
intention of studies. Or is this study actually real science that they're trying to understand what's right, or is the basis of the study funded to prove something that they believe, and they skew the data a little bit and do things and set it up a certain way to we should talk about that e-collar thing really quick. That's that study that we were listening to. They were talking about how it was a study. They had basically had 3 groups of border collies, A, B, and C. And I don't know exactly the order, but let's just say that the A group, they were all raised the same way in the lab and the whole thing, right?
Yep.
And the A group, they taught the dogs recall with an e-collar. The B group, they didn't do any teaching of recall, but they pressed the e-collar, and they did it when the dogs would chase prey, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it was? Yeah, chasing prey. Second group B was e-collar without the teaching of it. Right. And group C was putting them in the room and just pressing the e-collar.
Randomly.
Without
either telling what the e-collar means or without letting them know what like a recall is.
No idea.
They put them in the environment and instead randomly pushing the button.
Yes. So the 2 groups that did very well and recovered no problem were the groups that the A group and the B group that got it. One understood recall and the other one got corrected or got the imprint boom from chasing it, and they both so then they tested cortisol levels, which is also not the best way to do it, because when you're learning something new or you're You're confused about something, like cortisol will rise, but doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. You're actually going through good stress. When you're learning, when you're getting out of comfort zone, by the way, you get in cortisol. Cortisol comes out.
Right.
What the fuck is this? I gotta do a fight flight, but then you overcome, right? And the final group, of course, did the worst. The dogs were terrified to even go into the room. So what did they take out of that study? That group. They said, look, the dogs were terrified to even go into a room, and e-collar is the worst tool ever. So even the interpretation of fucking studies matters so much too. Yeah. You know, and like
there's so many variables along with that too. It's like, who's the trainer that's doing this teaching? Like, who are the individual dogs? Where do they come from?
What are their pack position?
Like they do is even that study. It's like, yes, they're all border collies. They're all raised in the lab environment. But it's like even then you have all the different energies, different pack positions. So it's like it's really tough to get to the bottom of like what's right and wrong with training.
What was the contact of the e-collar on that dog? Was it making good contact on that dog, or was some dogs not feeling it? Was it being closer on other dogs that's feeling it at a higher level? Like we're all pressing in on 10, but this dog is like freaking out and this one's not. Maybe it's not connected the right way. You know? Do these people even know how to put an e-collar on?
Right.
I mean, like, So anyway, there's so many things to that stuff. So when people who say science proved, I'm like, you don't know. I'm not
it's also, did you read the whole study?
I'm just
some people will just go right to the conclusion.
People will take group C. It's like, we'll see e-collar it proves bad results for what you're going to. It's just like, well, what about the other two studies also?
Yeah.
And all these other variables we're mentioning.
When people are like, those people, I'm really just not interested in talking to be honest. When they say science proves, so my point is their mind's made up. Now they're just looking for data and things that fit what they made up of what they believe dog training and dog psychology should be. I'm like, I don't fucking care about what I think should be. I want to know what Mother Nature truly believes at the core is the best way to do this shit. You know what I mean? We're talking about e-collar, Mother Nature, but the e-collar is just a tool.
Yep. It
can be used terribly. It can be used to shut dogs down. It can be used to punish dogs in a terrible way. I've seen it used, and I've seen many of these training companies using it, and it pains me to see it. And I see the dogs; they're shut down, they look miserable, the whole thing. I get it, but that tool can also be amazing. And we should shoot a video of even today or tomorrow of show what Nico looks like when I take out the e-collar. Remember I did that with Maddie back in the day. I would take out the e-collar, and she was like, fuck yeah, where are we going? What are we doing? This is the greatest thing in my life. Where's my ball? We're going to do... So I created a positive association. So that tool to her meant adventure. It didn't mean... Because some people will say, look at my e-collar. It works great. They pull it out, and the dog goes like this. Yep. I'm like, oh, you fucked this tool up royally. We got to redo this whole thing now. Yep. So now stick it on your dog for a month and don't even press it ever. Because we got to start desensitizing him and start teaching him again. Because he's already got a bad imprint.
Every time you bring it out, get some food to go on too.
Yeah.
So you bring it out, give him a treat, and just have it on and never use it.
Yeah, because they put it on, the dog goes like this. Look, it works. I'm like, yeah, you became reliant on the tool, which is what a lot of these trainers want you to do. Rely on food, rely on an e-collar, rely on a prong collar, rely on... Not that they want the e-collar prong, but you know what I'm saying? It's different spectrums. Different ends of the spectrum. So, I mean, sometimes they just come up with shit too. Like, based on what are you saying that? You know? Anyway. Next.
Okay, the next one. How much experience and what type of experience are you looking for in trainers when hiring? I think knowing what pack leaders is looking for would be helpful for myself as well as other trainers who would like to learn and hopefully work with you guys in the future.
Oh, man. How do I even say it? It's really, look, this is what I would tell you guys the most. For me, the number one thing is who is the person. I don't even fucking care about a dog. Don't even be near it. Like, obviously, you got to have, like, enjoy it.
Well, yes.
But I'm just saying, like, I just want to, like, sit and just, like, look, like I'm just looking at Jamie right now, and there's no dog around this and that, and start talking to them and see what is this person's energy like. Are they positive? Are they in a growth mindset? Are they a team player and want the whole team to succeed, not just themselves succeed? Do they work well with other people? Because that's like... Yeah. What is the saying? They put you put 3 dog trainers in the room, and the one thing they'll agree upon is that the other one's wrong, or whatever the hell it is, something like that, like some shit like that, or 2 dog trainers, whatever it is. They just agree that the other one's incorrect, kind of thing. So for all of us to get together, it has to be just based on that, like just like that mentality of that person, the one we had said before of like, this is what it is. I'm like, get the hell out of my face, because you don't know shit to know what it is yet, you know. Yeah. I want to like have discussions and deep conversations with everybody, though. I would love to like have a deep conversation with a positive, only what they consider themselves positive thing. I would love to have a talk with, and by the way, this is starting to happen with some good people in the dog world that I'm hearing from behind the scenes, and a lot of good stuff. So people are starting to come together, and what I love about it is when some of the elite people are now getting into discussions and questioning each other, but questioning each other not in a, I'm going to shame you and make you wrong and make you terrible. I'm just going to question why you do that with your dog, and I think this way could potentially be better. You know, like that's what I'm interested in. You know, someone tells me, look, if someone told me that all I needed was a bag of hot dogs and I got that red zone aggression human case to be calm and joyful and amazing dog, I'm like, I will stand up right now, go buy a first class seat to the fucking place, wherever it is, and I'll fly there and get COVID and do all that because I wanted that information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that the ego, move out of the way. I want to know what's the right way, not about Steve figuring out or Dave figuring out the right way or whoever figuring out the right way. I just want the right way to be known.
We never assume there's one solution to everything or one training approach that's better than others. It's really like, what's this dog showing me now? How do we get to the result that we want?
Yeah.
You know, and like
strategy.
Every case is like a puzzle, and like, you know, well, I've seen this kind of thing before with this type of dog. Maybe try it this way. See how that works with the dog. You know, we're all kind of working together.
Yeah.
We obviously we know the things that work better for us individually, and as a team, we can share these things. You know, so we're always looking for people with an open mind. You know, people who work well with others and encourage each other. You know, because we all have the same goal here on the team. You know, to be looking for the best outcome and for the health and the joy and the enrichment of the dogs that we work with.
Something just popped in my head when he's in the puzzle thing. Mm-hmm. It's like the dog psychology stuff is like the foundation and the fundamentals of dog psychology is like, okay, let's do the border of the puzzle first.
Yeah, right.
Let's put all these obvious colors like together.
Right.
We know these big clumps, and then it's like these weird pieces.
Yep.
Like, where the fuck does this piece belong? Kind of thing. And it's like, how do I make this fit this whole thing? And that's the part where it gets a little bit more challenging and like problem solving and this and that. And she's asking like for a clear answer. I just thought like as you were saying, I'm like thinking she's asking for like a clear example of why we're like into positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Anyway, the real truth is again, like I said, energy of the human being. Are you motivated? Are you a positive person? Are you in a growth mindset? Do you work well with others? Are you for the team, not for yourself first, kind of thing?
A team player is a big one for me.
Yeah.
One thing I really can't stand is when you ask someone to do something, they're like, "Oh, that's not my job." To me,
if
it's like
when
I hear that,
like that, you might as well just pack your shit and leave and take your thing because I don't want to deal with that. Like it's not my job. Well, it's also not technically my job to go out and clean dog shit, but I still do it. You know, and I own the whole fucking thing.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, there's some shit's
I mean, we all do that too.
Yeah,
you know?
but everyone has to. Everyone's doing it. Like, if the shit's around, someone picks it up.
For
like,
sure.
Right.
Like, this is out of the way. Let's move this. Like, it's not that it's not my job or who's watching and all that.
Right.
Thing, you know?
That is something I can say with the people we have here right now.
It's going really good.
Everybody's really down to like whatever's needed. Like, let's help each other out.
Yeah.
I'm liking the way that's going.
We're all looking for
sure.
ways to contribute. You know, whether that's like training thing or whether that's, you know, helping somebody with cleaning or whatever it is. You know, we're just like we're all in it together here. So.
And I would say also like a good way is like if you have all those qualities, then and willing to sacrifice. Mm-hmm. That's a big one too. Is like the people who come in and say like, yeah, I've done this and I've done that and I want this and I want that. I'm like, nah, you know, like everybody knows here that everybody sacrifices when they come here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. I mean, and that's one that for me is not because I'm trying to. What's the word I'm looking for? Like take advantage or any of that shit. It's just one that I know that going through adversity and building resiliency is enormous. So if you can't work for free for a week or two to prove yourself and do training and do all that kind of stuff with us, and you say I deserve to get paid right away, then that's fine. Go get paid right away somewhere else. But
it also means that you don't really believe in yourself. If you're able to like prove your concept, prove what you can do.
It's like, look what I did with Caesar. I volunteered myself. I wasn't expecting to be hired and being like, he's my go-to guy. Like, I wasn't expecting that shit. I was just going to try to learn some information, you know? But instead of coming in there and being like, Caesar, let me show you what I can do, and I'm the best, and I don't know, why are you getting, you know, that I would have never, I've seen them, by the way, and they never last. The people never around. So anyway, that's the other part of it too, is that it's really the energy, we just keep saying the same thing over and over, is the energy of the person. Mm-hmm. Because the dog stuff we can teach, you can start as a handler here, and start working with some of the camp dogs, and start working with some of the rescues we have, or start working with my dogs. I have dogs here. I have 2 dogs that are rescues that are my dogs, and those are really the community dogs that were, you know, both dogs were meant to be put down. They were given up on by society, and we took them in, and those are dogs that you can learn a lot from.
A whole lot.
So they all, Luigi and Prince definitely have their own quirks, for sure.
That's for sure.
So you can learn. So it's that. That's really the main thing I would say is that. And the knowledge of dogs, like something is obviously the more you know, the better. But sometimes the more you know, the worse. To be honest, because
it depends.
What do you know? What do you know? You know, because sometimes you think you know, but you don't really know.
What's up,
You
Johnny?
think you know, but you have no idea.
What is that
What
from?
is that from? I don't know. It just popped into my
You
head.
think you know, but you really don't.
You think you know, but you have no
Anyway.
idea.
Self-explanatory.
And then another one is actually, you don't know what you don't know, too.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right? That's a good
Yeah.
one.
And once you know, you can't not know.
So we're going to be signing off of Instagram pretty soon, but I just said, it's funny because I said any last minute questions and the questions started coming in like super hot. So we're going to be on.
Can you record those questions and we can maybe answer them somehow?
We have
them,
them all.
Okay.
Yeah, we screenshot all of them.
Good. Perfect.
So this is a good one.
That could be one also that you guys make like you ask one of the trainers, say, hey, answer this question for us.
Yeah.
So we're going to actually be going on another live in the Maddie Ranch page with the team, not podcast, but just more lives on the team page. So I'm sure people are going to be like,
I'll come in there and I'll start asking questions.
Yeah, he's going to sneak in.
No Steve's allowed.
No Steves.
Wow, Hackler Dog's asking a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
This is for
And this one is for Dave. For
Dave.
Dave.
Thanks a lot, dog trainer Johnny.
Hey, he's
I'll
the
just-
featured guest.
He's
What
a
made you
featured
decide
guest.
to join PLD, and what's your favorite thing about working there?
All right, so for anyone who wasn't here earlier, I worked at a doggy daycare for many years before coming here. What made me decide to join the PLD team? It's really, I guess at my old job, I was working with dogs and I was loving it. There was a lot of things lacking. I mean, I think the main thing, I felt like I had plateaued at my last job. So I feel like I had pretty much learned everything I could have learned about, social space with dogs and stuff in that environment. And like I said, I was seeing everything that was going on the Instagram and following. It's like, dang, I was learning so much more from a 5-minute clip on Instagram of Steve working with whoever it was than I was in, an 8-hour day at my old job kind of thing. So I just wanted to really immerse myself in this environment and, contribute whatever I can contribute and like take what I can too. And to really just become a part of the team. So that's really what made me reach out. My favorite thing about working here is, there's just so many awesome things about working here. The environment, all the dogs, all the different dogs I get to work with, all the different behaviors I'm exposed to. Everything teaches me something new. Everything else that the team contributes, it's a really supportive environment. Everyone's super open about talking about things, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
We get through.
We're working on that.
We get through the real shit, and it's not something I could say for any job I've had in the past, which is something really special.
I was gonna say, like, how many jobs do you go to that the owner is like, okay, so the hypnotherapist is coming this day. Who's doing the sessions? You know what I mean? Like, who wants to talk to this guy about this thing? And like, it's a super important. I was gonna say, is what he was saying. I was like popping in my head was the opportunity for growth too. Yeah. So like the place you were at, it's just like, this is what we're doing, this is it, and this is what you do.
It's just a fixed thing, It's
done.
just this is how things are run here.
And people are never going to be. People will never succeed in those environments because it's all about growth.
Yeah.
And I've seen it through all aspects. You can see it with the money thing because that can be measured. But even people with billions of dollars are still trying to grow. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make logical sense. Most of these people could not even spend the fucking money in their lifetime if they tried. But they're doing it because they still want to grow. I do that stuff as I'll be with like when I was with this billionaire guy who's a capital guy. He's an older man. He formed his own company and all that stuff. And I'm teaching him all about the dog and stuff. And then I would ask him. I just ask him questions like, and do you mind me asking why you got out of what you were doing and then you formed your own thing and got back into it? Like, I said to him, because I've been in their apartments, and I said, obviously you guys have good. Like, is it a money thing? He's like, no, I just love what I do. I just love the money thing. So that's another thing too, is finding something you're passionate about. Yeah. And a lot of these people who are super successful financially also, they really care about what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, they really, really give a shit about it. So the opportunity for growth too is like when I write in those comments and I say the unlimited income potential, I fucking mean it. I really mean it. People say, oh, what? So I could one day make like $2 million a year working for you? Yeah.
Hey, Daniela. We have another team member on. I just wanted to bring her on real quick so that we can test this on.
Is she on IG?
Oh, surprise.
Test this on for size.
Oh, shit.
She should be able to pop on here. And we're about to log off of this in a sec. Hopefully your internet works.
Yeah.
My face now. There it goes.
That's the shit. It's like, and like the growth stuff is the biggest thing. That's by far the biggest shit, is like the opportunity for growth here. That's never ending. And I always say we're playing a long game here. So if it's more of like, I just want to learn some information about this dog thing and go do my own thing, like, I would recommend not going there, because now over the years of things like that kind of happening, I can sniff that out much easier now of like someone who's in here for themselves. And I'm just not interested in doing that shit. Like, if you want to be part of the team and do this stuff, then I'm willing to dedicate the time to grow the team, because I'm trying to grow a team for a mission here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to just give people their little thrill of they learn some stuff and I'm going to do my own. Good luck. I mean, you can, but I this is what I tell people. You're either going to do this industry by yourself or you're going to join a team. And it's very challenging in this industry to do a team, because not this team, but the world and this dog training world is filled with ego.
Yep.
Tons of ego. And I have these theories of why. I think a lot of people struggle in the human world and then get involved with dogs.
Yeah.
Because they've had negative experiences with humans.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'm just going to go work with dogs. But then
there she goes.
That dogs are the whole thing. Who the hell is this? This is Daniela, who works with us. One of the newer members of the team. Not that new, right? How long have you been here now?
A year.
It'll be a year in like
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Coming up.
Wow, isn't that crazy?
It goes by
Coming
fast.
up.
3 months, yeah. I started in like July.
Where are you home? I was going to say, where are you right now?
My house.
Okay.
I'm actually
So nosy.
I know.
doing work for camp.
Nice.
You just likes to hear that.
She just pulled out that notebook.
Yeah, for sure.
As I'm multitasking and listening to you guys.
Yes,
Perfect.
that's right. So, are we doing questions with her, or what are we doing here?
I honestly wanted to bring her on real quick because I know that she's watching and she was probably going to be available. So
what
I
made
wanted
you,
to test it out.
Daniela? What made you reach out to come work with us? Were you able to hear what Dave said?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
What made me reach out? Well, I actually reached out before the pandemic really hit. But I think you guys were like moving to the ranch, so it like wasn't like the best time. But
Yeah.
I think what made me reach out was I've been following you guys. I had been following for, a long time. I would say at least a year. Doing all of this stuff, watching all of the videos, and just I knew you had worked with Caesar and used like his methods, and the energy thing like really stuck out to me. And obviously learning how dogs learn and how dogs communicate and their body language and, the mechanics of working with a dog. I think you guys, we really nail it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what attracted me to, you guys and your energy. Because
Thank
Steve
you.
is like Steve is like very captivating, I think, as a leader.
Yeah, it's like I can't control myself. That's a problem.
And I think it's just a good energy to be around, not just you, but the whole team. And once I went there for my session with my dog that I was having issues with, after that day, it was just like, can you hire me now?
Yeah.
I want to learn.
Yeah. So, Daniela came with her dog, Oakley, and was just asking some questions about him. And I was like, just bring him. I forget how it went down. I think it was like on Instagram or something, right? I was like, we'll schedule something. Just bring him to the ranch. I got to see this dog.
Yeah,
and we did some.
We had a video call one day, and the next
Oh,
day
yeah.
took off of work and went up.
By the way, people, that's another one. Sign up for the video calls because you never know. Daniela had originally signed up for a video call. We were talking about it, and then she had said during the video call, I actually applied to work with you guys a while ago. I'm like, really? And I liked the conversation I had with her, so that's what I got on either you or Cassie about that. I was like, get this girl in here to do... we had actually said, I was like, just come up and bring this dog. I was like, let's just do something with him tomorrow.
Yeah,
because it was the beginning of the pandemic.
When can you come?
Yeah, I was like, just come up, because it was... we had like really not that much going on here. It was like...
I was going to say, for you to have like next day availability.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't know,
I'm just sitting here doing breath work and affirmations and shit all day long. So just come up and I want to work with a pity. I haven't worked with a pity in a while now, So she came up and we did a bunch of stuff, and I really liked it. Then we ended up hiring Danielle, and things have been going really good. So she's doing a ton with the camp program now, which is like taking off like wildfire. Now we're trying to keep up with buying more vans and getting more space, and we're already like running into the same fucking problem in Hoboken, which I was not expecting to run into this problem in 1 year at the ranch in a pandemic of like, wow, we're running out of space.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
Place is a monstrosity of a place, and we're already running out of space. So, good problems to have. But yeah, that's what I would. There's something she was saying too. Fuck, there's something she said.
Something I was saying?
Yeah, I tried to hit. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask. Was like, so you guys always hear me say about the clients, I never want them to feel wrong and stuff, but maybe you guys can talk, be honest about this. Is it ever feel like here that like when you're working with a dog, like people are judging and hovering over and making you feel wrong about doing something?
No, I don't think I don't think we ever make each other feel like wrong, but I think we definitely try to expand our openness to new like suggestions.
Yeah.
And like I think we talk a lot about being able to communicate.
Yep.
And you know, that's the pathway that we have as a team.
Correct.
So I mean, if I do take something the wrong way, or like someone was short with me, or I was short with someone, like we address it. We don't just like, oh, like let it simmer and then you're like, what?
Yeah.
You know, so we work really well.
It's one of those things, you know, like so many people don't want to do that stuff because they want to avoid confrontation. You know, so but sometimes confrontation doesn't always mean confrontation in a way of like I'm attacking you. It means, hey, I wanted to confront on something I heard or something I saw, or I just want to talk to you about this. So they want to avoid the confrontation. Then it's like, and that's a thing that I have too. Like I always say, like I even wrote in the thing today. Sometimes I get into that lack mindset of like I don't have enough time. I don't have this and So it gets into like I don't want to say I'm not going to even deal with this right now because I'll just deal with it later. And then it ends up boiling over, and then I'm like fucking like why are you doing that with the dog? You know what I mean? And it's just.
Yeah.
It just is not the best way. So it's not easy because we all come from we're our own. We're developing a pack here of humans, right? So it's not easy because we all come from our own childhoods, our own histories, our own events, our own traumas, our own things. Some people get more defensive, some people get insecure, some people are too assertive, and you know. So we're learning from each other. So there are going to be setbacks. There's going to be mistakes that happen. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be some confrontations, but. The most important thing that I always say, and you've heard this, we recently discussed something, right? And I was like, well, why don't you guys get together and let's talk about this thing and let's see if that's good. And if you need me to come in and help and talk about that, I will. I think I said it in a way too. I was like, I want to run this place like the mafia. Remember that? But not in the crime way, everybody. So everyone calm the fuck down. I know this is Jersey and Sopranos and everything, but I want to run in the way of like let the people on the streets, which I see as like the soldiers or the trainers and everybody, you guys are going to sort things out, and I'm going to show you how to sort them out. And if you can't, I want to sit down with the boss and we're going to discuss it. And I'm going to hear that person out, I hear this person out, and why was this, blah, blah. And then whatever I say kind of ends it, and that's what it has to be to end it. You know what I mean? And we move forward with that. Yeah.
I think what also like is really helpful is that we all have different backgrounds. So like you were saying, Dave with the doggy daycare, he came from there and he worked there, and me with like the rescue world, like I have that, and Christian was from Ohio, so he's not even from this area, so like geographically it's like completely different. And you know, just everything, like Cassie did all the other training, and you with Caesar, like I think we all have so many different backgrounds that like we have different ways of approaching things. And if we like let each other know something that you maybe haven't seen before or like haven't necessarily tried, it could work. And I think we're just really good with like being open about it. Yeah,
because the communication factor too, if we can't communicate with each other, how the hell are we going to communicate with humans on the outside? Right.
Yeah. So
I think it's super important that I put a lot of pressure on that for us to really communicate and be open about shit, because without doing that, I don't see us being able to actually have the real conversations, the real stuff. People are hiding behind things. I don't want to say it, or this guy's going to get offended, or she's going to say this, and blah, blah, blah. That is just a waste of fucking time, all that stuff. It's to me more important to show actual love for a person and say, hey, I'm noticing you seem a certain way. Is everything all right? You know, even asking it, how are you doing, is a good thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, how are you doing? Like, why? Am I doing something? No. I just want to see how you're doing. How are things? How is everything going? You know, like these things are super important. Because, and look, we're a little bit different in the sense of like, I tell everybody here, like, you got something going on with like your girl at home, your guy at home, your parents, your this, like, we can have a talk about that. I'm willing to have that talk with everybody. It's not the most like, I guess like business professional way, but is it? You know what I mean? Is it, or is it not? Or is it the new way of doing business? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Gary Vee would be saying, no, dude, you're doing the right shit. You're connecting with these people, you really care about these people. And I do. I care about everybody here deeply. They're coming to fucking make a career here. Of course I want them to care about people. It's what we do. You have to care about the pack. Yeah. If I can't lead this pack, how am I going to lead a pack of dogs? Well, a pack of dogs is easier. But you know what I'm saying? It's really important for us to be able to be open and communicate, because communication is the whole game. How many people, look, we live in the same area, we speak the same language, and we're the same species. And we don't always communicate very well. How many people have a conversation and one person took it as this and the other person took it as this? What the fuck? That's not what I was saying.
The energy is totally different.
Totally different. Because and I think a lot of people when they're talking and doing stuff, they're so busy trying to say what their point is and get their thing and win. Yep. Right? Just like that, we were saying about the positive trainer thing. Like sometimes they want to win. They want their positive training way to win. And I'm like, I don't care about a specific way of winning. I just want the right way to win.
I just want the dogs to win.
I want the dogs to win. I want the best way to win. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. Even when it comes to politics and all these things, it's like, I'm this way, I'm that. Well, is that all the best? Is that all the best? Maybe you can have some views of both sides. Let's be crazy. Like the positive. Maybe you could interrupt the dog once in a blue moon, and that might actually help you. Maybe. You never know, So, yeah. Super interesting. But, yeah, we're happy to have you part of the team. We got to get you on for one of the podcasts soon.
Oh, yeah.
We have to have a team bonfire.
Same thing.
For my anniversary.
Yeah, it's true.
Bonfire.
We'll just burn the place down and call it.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. It was a good 1 year in existence. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniela, for coming on. We appreciate you.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you tomorrow.
I was like, oh, did I press something, or are they actually
No. Do they actually love me over there? Is that what's happening? Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yep.
Bye. Thanks again.
See you.
Right.
Bye.
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 All right, that was a really good test. I wanted to see how easy we can make that happen.
Killing two birds with one stone.
Absolutely. So, Jamie, what do you think? Do you have any questions for Dave? Just a personal one?
Oh, personal
yeah,
ones.
anything that you feel like you want to ask before we get out of here?
I guess I would ask. What?
Some personal shit. I'm like, whoa.
No, I'm not going to get into
Careful, Dave.
personal.
Get ready. Put your seatbelt on.
I guess if there would be.
Before you ask that
Oh my
question,
God, I can't
before
get it
you ask that
out.
question, let's sign off on Instagram. Thank you guys for joining us.
See you guys in the
everybody.
next
Thanks
one.
for your questions.
And if you want to watch Jamie ask her question, then you guys have to watch the entire
Maybe I'll get to
podcast.
ask it.
Yeah, exactly. Bye, guys. Thanks again.
Later. So what's your question?
Okay. I guess if you could see one change or one improvement come
Yeah.
for the company, the team, anything, like what would be something that you would like to see?
New owner, first of all.
But what I would like to see moving forward.
Yeah. These are good.
That kind of threw me off a little bit.
Nice.
Let me think.
That's how you know it's a good one.
Yeah.
We've been talking about so many things that would be
I know.
like changes moving forward to benefit the team, benefit the dogs, and everything else.
I
think
mean,
I'm
it could
just
be
gonna-
anything, small, big.
Yeah, I mean, for us moving forward, I think just continuing everything we were just talking about really was just like, I mean, we had that conversation in Slack. You sent us that video. And I made the point of like, you know, we're all here committed to the same goals, the same purpose. You know, we have the same kind of mission all together. And the more we can support each other with, what did I say? You know, clarity, compassion, understanding, you know, just really being here for each other in the right way, I think is just, you know, we've done so much of that since I've been here too. But
it's not been easy, by the way.
No, and we all have our own things going on.
We've had some serious conversations. Like I've had serious conversations with basically every single fucking person here.
Right.
And I know you guys amongst each other have your own things, but it's not like, it's always like conversations where, and at least in my opinion, like we're trying to help each other. Like, how can I help this person get past this thing that they're going through or dealing with, whether that's work, whether that's relationship, whether that's personal, like childhood, whatever the fuck. I don't care. I want us to be, she made the perfect mistake by calling it a family.
Yeah.
You see, like in our family,
'cause it really is.
like our pack, our team. It's like, no, this is a fucking family. Call it what you want. Like people have such a thing with the word pack.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I made that thing, it was when I was sitting there one day, the name of the company, Pack Leader Dogs. I was like, I like what Caesar, I had no idea about this dog world and all that shit. So I was like, I like what Caesar says about this Pack Leader thing, like Pack Leader Dogs. First it was Pack Leader Dog Care Services. Mm-hmm. And then I shortened Pack Leader Dogs.
Well, it still is Pack Leader Dog Care Services.
Yeah, but
the official name.
That's what goes on the checks.
Yeah, exactly. But then I shortened it to just Pack Leader Dogs, and then got the Instagram name. So it's like I'm not even tied. I don't. It's just a thing, but it's the word pack. People say, "Oh, dogs aren't pack." I'm like, fine, call it a family, call it a team, call it a group, call it a gathering, call it a social club, call it whatever the fuck you want. They're social animals.
Yep.
Highly social animals, and so are humans.
Yep.
That's why we got together, by the way.
And not to cut you off, but to go back to the actual answer to that, you feel good with that answer, or did you want to elaborate a little more on that?
No, it's pretty much it. You know, like you said, we've had so many deep conversations that go past your normal work conversation things.
Yeah.
And like, to be honest, those aren't conversations I've had with the people in my life that you would expect to be having this kind of, like your parents or your best friends or your girlfriends and things like that. You know, so it's definitely a different kind of approach, obviously, you know, to have those kind of like heavy conversations, but that on the other end of those things, we make some real change and some real benefit. And then we take that forward and share that with the rest of the team. And then, you know, that affects our energy, how we come into work and how we approach a dog, and it all contributes. So I think it's all very important.
I think people are sometimes thinking that we're just sitting here and just talking dog psychology all day long. But to get to dog psychology, we got to get through ourselves first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone's got to be able to overcome that shit that happened, because we've all been through shit. I don't care if you were in like in quote what was supposed to be the perfect childhood and shit. You've been through shit. You have traumas, whether you know it or not. And you may have micro, like super little things. Like for me, like those that hypnotherapy brought some really little things for myself. I'm like, fuck, that wasn't that big of a deal.
I know.
I love that too. You weren't even thinking about any of that stuff,
No,
and then
It's all
it's
your subconscious. You never, it's just
and you're
there.
like, holy shit, I didn't know that.
Fuck, that's a good one. Then release it out into the world. And how many people hold on to it because like they're like, I'm scared to do this because people are going to judge and this and that, and then they don't like let it out. Let it out.
It's the unknown. It's the unknown of what happens on the other side of letting it out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's you know, some people actually become addicted to anxiety, to fear, to hate, to anger, because that's all they know.
Yeah. Anything but change.
Yeah, when they do it all this time, it's like, well, what does it mean? To be positive? I don't even know what that looks like. I don't know. It makes me feel uncomfortable, so I'm not even going to try.
Yep.
You know? And going, I was going to say something there. Yeah, with that girl, Danny, dog trainer. That part also I was going to add to the list of being able to be open and being able to be willing to have these conversations.
And checking your ego.
And being okay when you're walking by and I say, everything all right with you? And not being like, why? What do you mean? Why are you asking me that question? And is there something I'm doing? I didn't.
Yeah, if I could be super transparent right now. I know, and this is for Steve. No, but I've noticed this happens. So hey, how are you doing, buddy? I feel like, how are you? Good. How are you? Real fast, the response.
Me?
It's happened with you at times, to me. So it's happened with you at times. It's happened with maybe Cassie at times. But just people in general will do that. It's like a very It's like a very like neutral answer. Like
it's just like your
good. How are
automatic
you?
response.
Good. How are you? And there's not a lot of thought behind it. So what I do a lot with people nowadays is like, so how's your day going? Not only how are you?
Yeah.
How's your day going? Because then you can gauge really how people are doing in their lives.
Yeah.
So one day we were filming a video and I asked you, hey, how are you, buddy? And you're like, good, how are you? Right away. Like kind of a little bit sharp, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because I felt you a little bit stressed out. And we didn't really elaborate on it because we were shooting a video then.
Yeah.
But I like to check in with people a lot and see how are we actually doing? Are you happy today? Are you feeling good?
And when people ask that question, a lot of times people ask the question of like, how are you doing? And they just ask it, right? They just ask it and then they're like, oh, and they're like, oh, cool. And then they're like walking off.
Yeah.
It's just in passing.
How
are you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good.
Like what you said and what you're saying, it's a form of like this social thing that in the culture we're in. It's like, hey, how are you? Good. You? Great. Like, but something when people say like, how are you doing? I always say great. Because that's like the law of attraction thing too. Even though I may not be doing great, I say like, not always, by the way. Yeah. But I say like, even if I'm feeling like decent or whatever, I'm just like, I feel great. Great day.
And that day,
and reminding myself that life is fucking great.
And that day you did say that. You said, great, how are you?
Yeah.
Right? But then after that, the video went really good, and then you were just like, you really were great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even if you were having like a little bit of an off day,
it's a
brought
big
you
one.
right back
it's
into
true.
it.
It's like if you're going to ask somebody how they're doing, in my opinion, you should stay there and see how they're actually doing. Good.
Yes.
That was the weekend.
For
good.
sure.
Isn't that? But people do it as a way, but then they're not really interested.
Right.
You know what that actually
or
has
ask
with the
it
dog
more
thing?
direct, like a more direct question than just like, how are you doing? Maybe it's something like, I mean, you say that to me sometimes. Like I walk in, you're like, you look tired. Are you tired? Yeah. And I'm like,
I'm a little bit more direct. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like,
that's how I asked
sleep
you.
well.
You seem a little stressed to me. Like, how are you?
Yeah.
And then you were like, I'm great. And I was like, okay, cool. So
you know why? Because also, like, for me, like, I try not to bring my shit on others also. So I, like, a lot of times, like, say, like, yeah, I'm a little, like, stressed or I'm dealing with some bullshit, but I'm good with being able to, like, deal with it myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, not that I always, like, can deal with it myself, but because I put the work in to understand how to, like, recover myself from these things. Like, I'm not always the best with it, don't get me wrong. But there's, like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm great. And that, even him asking me that question, I'm like, that the truth is, in this moment, right in this second, I am a little stressed, but I'm going to set myself up for the future of what I am going to be, which is going to be great. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, now actively becoming great. So even him asking that question actually helps too.
Right.
That's awesome. Because I sense
Don't
things.
toot your own fucking horn.
No, but I really do. I'm okay with you not letting me toot my own horn, but I will. I'm going to toot my
now,
way.
now Adam's going to ask everyone 7 times a day. How are you? How are you?
But you know that.
He's going to become a fucking New York, New Jersey guy. How you doing? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
All over out of nowhere.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
My favorite's doing that to strangers. Like,
By
how's
the way,
your day going?
No, but thinking about that, that's a thing. That's a real thing that I just thought of. That might be something that he never experienced in LA, which is like over here. People say, how you doing?
Yeah.
And people say, yeah, how you doing? That's like literally the conversation.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
How you doing? Like, it's like good sometimes.
Yeah.
And they, yeah, how you doing?
Same thing. Yeah, same
Like,
thing.
it's like, did you answer me? It's like, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Like, that's really what goes on. Mm-hmm. That's what I grew up with around a lot. I'm sure you guys too,
Same.
right? It was like that thing. So that's maybe part of it too. Like taking the culture into it also.
So the culture here is definitely like next, you know?
Yes.
But for me, I'm like, I slow shit down all the way.
Yeah.
So how you doing? Good. How's your day going?
Yeah.
Good. What about your day? Like,
So that's
how
like
can it be
something-
better? And then it starts going into, and people start opening up, and I'm like, well, this is great. Like, to be able to have that power to influence people of
Is that one of the first
checking
things you
in.
notice being out here is how people are like, yeah, next, like that kind of thing? Like, great. Anyway, like I'm on to the next movement or something.
Fast walking was one of my favorite.
Fast walking?
Yes. One of the bigger
Why are these
things
people
here.
running down Fifth Avenue? in the
Dude,
city?
a little anxious, though, to be honest. I feel
Yeah, of
anxiety.
course.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
There's a ton of anxiety around.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why people need to get out of that place and come into nature sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
At least once a week.
Yeah.
That should be a part of everybody's wellness protocol. Like, of course, working out, nutrition, drinking enough water, meditating, cold showers, all that shit. But, like, go into nature, take your dog into nature for 1 hour a day. I mean, a week. I'm just going to say, this day, every week, I go to the local park or the reserve or whatever, and we just go walk. And I don't have my phone. I'm not looking at my phone the whole time. I'm just observing what's going on out here. And then people are like, well, what if there's a notification on my phone? I'm like, well, that's the point.
Yeah.
You can check it in an hour.
Yeah. Because, by the way, before, I bring this up a lot, that one, like, when I watched that video of my childhood, when I was like an infant. I mean, I was like 1 year old or whatever, right? Is that an infant? I don't know. I guess an infant's one.
More or less.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I was a young kid. I'm
Close
sitting in the
enough.
fucking high chair in the backyard of like my parents' house. Both my grandparents on both sides were there. My mom, my dad, like a few other people, and I was fascinated of just the experience of watching people sitting at a table with a drink in their hand, all talking, and no phones, no nothing, and just the attention that everyone was giving. And someone started talking, we all go to, and then and not like on the phone, not looking out the thing. And how what I've realized is humans have like lost this focus thing. Like they've lost the ability to focus.
Oh, yeah.
Because their attention is like this phone.
How
that
can
thing,
you
this.
focus?
What's on Amazon? What's on my email? And I find myself doing that. I'm like, wow, I just like in rapid
do it
fire
too.
check my Instagram, Facebook, mail, messages, like like all these things. And I'm like, fuck, like.
And then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I gotta put this away for a minute.
This is honestly why I love this podcast. We all put our phones down and actually have a conversation.
I know.
And I love it. And I think that people are going to like that too, to see the real us. Put the phones away, focus on a conversation.
Remember yesterday, or was that yesterday or 2 days ago when I just threw my phone?
Yeah, it was like 3 days ago. Yeah.
I'm sitting there and
Like,
I'm
that's
like
enough
on my
of this.
phone, and I don't even have my phone on me, which is an amazing feeling. I'm like looking at this thing and I go, I can't take this shit. I literally just threw it across the thing because I found myself scrolling and I was in my head telling myself like, dude, what are you scrolling and looking at? Who gives a shit? And then I got to a video of like, they put these like random Facebook videos on. It's like on someone else's page. I was in a group and whatever. And it's like, you're watching I don't know, someone cut cheese or something. Like, you're like, what am I watching right now?
That's literally what Facebook is.
You know what I'm like? And then all of a sudden I'm watching videos of like all this random shit. Like, oh, now I'm watching Korean barbecue and how they cook eggs and all. I'm like, what the fuck? They're like, I got to get off this thing, you know? But that's like that video, that Social Dilemma on Netflix talked about. He's like, bro, the guy who was one of the creators of one of these apps, he's like, dude, we have supercomputers that are filled in like football field warehouses that are all AI, and their whole objective, the whole creation, their whole existence is to figure out how to keep you on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's
so if you want to go compete against an entire fucking thing, go ahead. That's why I try to like literally force myself to stop doing that stuff. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to put a limit on it. You have to.
Yeah.
That's why, like, for me, my limits are, let's go play with Nico. That's why your dog can, all right, in full summary of this whole thing, the dog can be your thing to be like, I feel like I should pick up my phone. Let me go take my dog out and do something with them. Let me go do a 15-minute training session with them so I can be conscious. So don't do a 15-minute pet session where I put the dog here and I'm just petting him all day for 15 minutes. That's not really consciousness. Like, you're kind of like getting a feeling of value for a minute. And you do get some consciousness out of that, but that's value for you, not so much for your dog.
Right.
Yep.
But if you took your dog out and said, I'm going to go work on some heel or some long line work, or I'm going to work on place, or I'm going to work on crate, or I'm going to do this, you're focusing on that. So you're conscious, but you're doing something beneficial for the dog also. Mm-hmm. So don't give me their shit of telling me that you love your dog if you ain't doing that stuff for your dog. Because a lot of people love the way the dog makes them feel, not that they actually love their dog.
Right.
Because they're doing it in an unconscious way. Oh, I love the way this just makes me feel. I just feel so good about this. I'm unconscious about it. I'm like, you know your dog is struggling with anxiety and fear and all this crap? Well, yeah, but it makes me feel good. Oh, well, that sucks for your dog. Mm-hmm. So be truthful. Be honest with yourself. And as they say, the truth will set you free. I just say that without stumbling. Yeah, the truth will set you free. And they say the truth is cold and hard sometimes. And it hurts and it stings. But it will give you, that's where everything is. That's where all the juice is in the truth. People don't want to admit shit, and they don't want to just deal with what is, you know? I think it's so important that we deal with our stuff.
I liked your question though.
Yeah.
Jamie,
Thank you.
Jamie, that was a very good question. I have one more, maybe if we can end it on this one. This is kind of, it was for Dave, but I think we can all answer this. What are you saying now?
I'm like,
what's up with that? It's like, I'm like looking at my camera.
I'm like,
I'm looking at my camera and he's like at the bottom of the screen.
Like, this thing just is like going down in there.
Can you act like you want to be here? Shit.
I actually think it's the mic that keeps like drooping.
And he's like drooping down to match it. No, it's not. It's fine.
She's coming back. Finally, at least somebody.
All right, here we go. How will you change / affect the dog world? It's a very broad question, but I think it's a powerful one.
Who's that to?
This is for Dave first,
That's
but
for
maybe we can
Dave.
all answer it.
Not you.
I mean, that's something I'm constantly thinking about, is how to change the conversation for general knowledge about how they approach dogs and how they feel about dogs, and like, how do we get the knowledge?
Who's they, though? Who are you talking about?
Just like the general populace, you know, like just society in general, how they view a dog as, you know, a pet dog versus getting a dog for, why are you getting a dog in the first place? Is it to fill some sort of emotional need? Do you need the feeling of being loved, and you want to put your love on that dog, and just, you know, the reasons why you're getting a dog, and then whatever things you're doing that are contributing to behaviors that eventually wind up getting your dog sent to someone like us, you know?
Yep.
So it's questions I ask myself all the time. It's like, okay, now that I understand this stuff, how do we get the general populace to understand this stuff? So that's something I'm constantly asking myself and working on in my head. Yeah. If there's one thing I can leave for the dog world, it'll be that, how to kind of get that broader knowledge out to as many people as can pass, so that becomes kind of the new normal, you know? Yeah. That's kind of how I see us changing.
Yeah, for sure.
Changing the world of dogs.
Nice.
I would just I mean, I like what he said, totally. Just to elaborate is really like the thing, you know, look, I started with this thing of like, let's do dog walking to make money. That's what I really did. I'm being fully honest about it. Then I went through a bunch of shit and realized how, like, I had a realization, I realized this. When I went through shit, how, and I'm not wearing her shirt, of course, now, but the Maddie, L3, you guys have it on, of course. How Maddie helped me through that shit, and how she was the one who was really the one telling me about myself, but I wasn't willing to listen or learn from it or understand it, and I was just like everybody else, shitting with my head cut off, running around society, just like doing the same thing over and over, chasing the money, chasing bullshit, chasing women, chasing partying, chasing nonsense, you know, and not doing anything for myself. And then her pointing out to me, hey, bro, you need to make a change. because you're not happy at all. And I'm like, hey, what do you mean I'm not happy? I'm partying. I'm doing this. No, you need to change. You're anxious. You're frustrated. You have anger. You have a weak mindset. You're frustrated. Did I say frustrated? Yeah.
Yes.
I was highly
Double
frustrated. Unhappy, depression, dealing with all a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? But looked at as like he's got it all figured out type thing. So I want to be able to help people through dogs. It's a definitely very different approach, right? So look, most dog trainers are out there to help you get your dog better, right? My approach and our approach as this team and my vision of this is for people to truly understand a dog so they can truly understand themselves and what their dog is telling them about themselves. So by rehabilitating a dog, you can actually rehabilitate yourself in the same time. So talk about killing two birds with one stone. Well, let me stop what I'm doing with all this watching bullshit on TV, listening to nonsense, doing drugs, fucking chasing the party weekend and living for the weekends and all that stuff. And let me see if I can work on my dog on place. Because what you're going to find out on place is you got to work on follow through. You got to work on setting intention. You got to work on breathing. You got to work on not getting frustrated. You got to work on following through. You got to work on your patience. You know what I mean? You got to work on commitment because you're committing to achieving something there. You know what I mean? So you're working on all those things in the moment. And then it's, well, how do you know if you're doing good? Look at your fucking dog. He'll tell you how you're doing, you know? So that's to me is like giving people through animals and Mother Nature, specifically the dog. We selected that one because it's the one that's the most that's in everybody's home. Not everybody, but in most people's. If you don't have it in your home, what's wrong with you? But if you having them in everybody's home, and it's the most social animal. That through understanding the psychology of that animal, first you have to understand this, like an animal, period, energy, which is energy. So once you can understand that part, you can apply that to other animals too. Because when I go around other animals and stuff, I know how to behave decently around these animals because I understand energy first. Now, when you're asking me, well, when a cat looks this way, what is he doing? I'm not sure because I don't study cat psychology. But if a dog's doing that, I can say, well, it could be this, 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 and this. I know exactly what it is. But it's the human behind the dog. You know what I mean? And we're humans, and we're getting more and more complicated with this technology and being distracted by everything and being pulled in all these different directions and social media and Amazon and all these things that a dog is reminding us, hey, humans, slow the fuck down. Focus on yourself. Focus on your family. Focus on growth. Focus on holding yourself accountable for the things, searching for the stuff within you to get it out of you so you can actually overcome and live your best life and highest vibration. So that's what I think. A dog knows this as energy.
Yeah.
You know? And what a beautiful thing that is to not know you as the media guy and your bank account and your followers and your political stance and your position of power in this and how famous you know what I mean? Like, they don't care about that shit. They want to know who you are on the inside. And they're 100% honest. Fuck. You know how much of us lie to each other all the time? And we lie to our in quote loved ones.
We lie to ourselves.
Yep.
So we lie to them because we don't want to hurt them. But in reality, by not being honest with them, you're hurting them. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying when someone walks in, they're overweight, you're like, wow, you're fat. Like, not that. No.
The way to do it.
But if that was someone in my life, I would definitely at some point have that conversation, which would not be fun for me, which would not be a joyful experience to point out that, hey, there's something going on here. And I know that most people in the world aren't going to tell you this, but I'm not saying this in a way to hurt your feelings or whatever, but I'm noticing this, and I think there's something we should look at there because I care about you enough to talk to you about this. You guys hear me saying it in the comments and the thing. Look, this is not the most fun for me to talk about. It would be much more fun to me to tell everybody to go fucking pet their dogs and lay on the couch and all the dodo and all that stuff. Yeah, it's more fun, but it's not going to be fun for people long term. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not going to make a difference. It's going to be perpetuating the bullshit that goes on out there and people still struggling. So in my opinion, the dog is something that can actually, this is what I truly believe. The dog is something that can actually stop humans from becoming so fucking complicated and so out of balance and so out of nature and so out of all this stuff. I think this pandemic has also been a scenario for people to wake the fuck up too.
I agree.
Some used it to watch Netflix all day long and do nothing and put on 30 pounds, whatever they said the most Americans, the
quarantine
average,
15 or something.
Yeah, 15, 20 pounds everyone's put on and shit. I'm like, damn, we've gotten all of us here have gotten in shit. We got stronger. Yeah. We got stronger mentally, physically. Yeah. Yeah. We're working on our nutrition. We're working on getting our minds right with the hypno. All these things. We're doing the work. So that's my point is that, once you understand the dog, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy from that point. It's definitely, that's where your awareness begins and they can hold you accountable, but that's putting in the work. And also not beating yourself up. Stop beating yourself up. That's one of my biggest fucking things. I beat myself up all the time. And that's where I was saying in the thing today of like, that's one of my things where I get into this lack mentality of I have no time. I have no time. But if I keep repeating that I have no time, then I have no fucking time.
Right.
If I keep repeating that this person looks like this every day and it pisses me off, then that's what's going to happen. If I keep repeating that Cassie's going to break my balls about this, she's going to do it regardless. But that's likely what's going to happen. If I keep repeating that my dog reacts to dogs on leash, it's probably going to keep happening. And anyway, that's the law of attraction shit. And even last night, I'm putting on my bed right next to the thing. I asked Cassie, can I put on this abundance thing? I want to start putting this on every night. And she said, yeah, I want to listen to it too. Nice. So I literally put a speaker like in between us, and it's all about like abundance.
You do Bob Proctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a great one.
That's my favorite.
We can maybe.
I wish it was a 6-hour one though, or
I
8-hour
know, it's
one.
only like
I
20
know.
And it
minutes or
keeps
something.
going. That'd be awesome.
Or just put it on repeat.
Loop it.
Yeah.
You can, but how? Like what? On what?
I don't know.
On YouTube. we
You would have
watch
to.
it, so-
Yeah, you would really have to download it and then just
repeating
loop it on there. But.
And make sure your device is charged.
If you guys want to know which one I'm talking about, it's if you look up on YouTube Bob Proctor Abundance, you will find it. It's like one of the first ones that will pop up. It's like, I think it's 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
That's one of just getting your mindset right. What's your self-talk? Like, that's like another one that people can think about too. What's your self-talk? Because mine, a lot of times when you get in your head, you're dead. Tony Robbins loves saying. And I agree with him on that one. Like, thoughts are a bunch of bullshit. It's like, oh, I think that this is going to happen, blah, blah. Yeah, well, you just made that up.
Yeah.
What I like about
based on other experiences and based on other people's thoughts, by the way.
What I like about that abundance one is that it's reminding you how powerful you actually are as well. Does that make sense? Like you have everything inside of you that you need to prosper. So remember that.
It's all there.
Yeah.
It's so deep, like this stuff. And that's what it is. Like, that's what the dog, and you've experienced it. I know you guys have even experienced it with the dogs, even though you're not technically dog trainers, of being in that moment with the dog and just being in that moment with the dog. And it's you and an animal, and there's nothing else even happening. And it's all about how are you feeling and what are you seeing and what. It's just nothing like it to be able to be like that conscious in a moment, you know? And consciousness is what? Just being in the moment and observing. So observing this and enjoying this, not worrying about what's happening tomorrow, not being depressed or regretting what happened in the past and all that shit. Just being like, whatever happened up to this point happened up to this point. I can't do shit about my past, but I can do something about something right now. So what's one thing that I'm going to do different? Well, I'm going to wake up earlier. I'm going to start working out once a week. Dude, I'm talking about like once a month if you never did. I don't care. Just one little thing. One thing to improve yourself. And the other thing I put in there is not comparing to others, comparing to yourself. Where were you?
Well, that's
because me comparing to Dave, what the fuck does that do? We came from different places, we're different ages, different parents, different upbringings, different everything.
Which is definitely more difficult now with social media because everyone's
competition.
comparing themselves to everyone else.
Well, look, and that's why I'm so grateful too. And I'm not trying to talk shit about clients or anything like that, but some of the people that I've worked with, I would never name names and stuff like that. But some of the people that I work with that are looked at in the world or the social media world or the business world or the influencer world or whatever world it is, that people, you would look at them on there and say, God damn, do they got shit figured out and this and that. And then come to find out that the person is dealing with depression, coming to find out that they are actually super depressed with their life. They're dealing with tremendous anxiety, you know, they're extremely unhappy. I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it in person. And people say, how do you know this? Because I saw it with my eyes. We've seen it with our eyes, you know, extreme levels of wealth, extreme levels of fame, extreme power levels of money, and very unhappy people. Right. Not all. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of them that aren't like that. You know what I mean? That are going, getting their shit done and they're happy and all that stuff. But yeah, the dog doesn't care about any of that fame and all that crap, which is why it's so damn important. So we can end it on that, I guess, right?
Yeah,
really good.
That's a good one to end
Thank
on.
you, Dave, for joining
Really
us.
good. We'll do it again.
We appreciate you for coming in. And Jamie, thank you for your help.
Well, why don't we say the idea too? We had the idea of doing like dogs and drinks or something like that. We said last time. And
I don't know about you guys. I'm freaking wasted right now.
We did this whole
So
podcast.
I did this,
This is
I was
this
going
is
to say
straight
this is
vodka
not
in
water.
here. This is my espresso martini in here. No. But we were thinking about doing one like that too, like doing a podcast where we have some drinks and more like even looser conversation. I mean, I don't know how much gets much looser than this, but even like.
And how long will that one be, dude?
Anything
it's
goes.
2 hours right now that we're into this one.
2 hours.
So imagine us having like some cocktails, like just be 3-4 hour freaking podcast. Easy.
Forget it. I'll be wasted by the end.
And to show you our commitment to the mission and stuff, this is 2 hours to give away information and give people a different outlook and give instruction and hopefully help people get better. And
it's also for us to put in that work too. And I appreciate you, Dave, coming in on your day off to do this.
Yeah.
But it's putting in that work to like test ourselves and push ourselves to the next level. You know, this is very professional what we're doing here, and we're here at a certain time. We're practicing for the real deal, and this is to me the real deal.
I have to, that's the thing for me too. Is like what you were saying there, pushing it and stuff. Is like that's the hard one for me. That's very discomfort because I'm at the core a middle of the pack who wants to have fun. You know what I mean? That's who I really am. It's like, do you want to talk about how I could like influence you to be better? Or do you guys want to just go get cocktails and have a good time? That's what I'm fucking That's what at the core I am. But it's my job as the owner / CEO right now to push people to do what I believe they can do that they may not even see in themselves just now. So that sometimes I get pushed back with that shit. I deal with resistance and it gets confrontation. Not like hostile or ever, but definitely like, I don't know. But I'm playing such a long game that I'm okay with that initial pushback. I'm okay with that stuff because I'm giving people the time and patience. I have the patience for people as long as I see the effort. You know what I mean? If it's just like, fuck you, I'm doing my own thing. Yeah. You get what I'm saying with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the most comfortable for me to say like, hey, you could be better. Like I would much rather just be like, can this fucking person just be better? Like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to have fun. And like, did you see what happened in the game yesterday? Like, I would much rather do that stuff. But that's, again, me getting out of comfort zone and doing what I have to do to make this mission. So I'm sacrificing my own comfort level for the mission, for the team, for everything. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. I just believe in this so much, and I can see it, how it changed my life. And I'm sure with everybody here, the dog has changed their life in some form or another. Some doesn't mean that you have to, it's going to be something that was like such a big change. But the dog pointed out, maybe you deal with some anxiety. Holy hell. Like when in life would anyone really like point out anxiety and not just tell you just to manage it and feel sorry for you?
Right.
You know, as opposed to being like, yo, you can deal with that shit. We can help you with that. You know, the dog can help you with it. You just got to understand how to let it help you with it. And that's what I'm saying. Understanding the dog psychology thing. Not beating yourself up. Self-aware, accountable. Have you heard me ever say that before?
Never.
Awareness and accountability. Fuck. If you get those two qualities, you're already in a really good space.
They're big ones.
I want to be self-aware, and I want to hold myself accountable for my actions.
Yeah.
And I want to, and like, if you go into all these situations, people go into situations figuring out how in the world, imagine like two people get into an argument and they're trying to figure out how themselves were incorrect.
Yeah. When do you ever see that?
It's like, no. Don't say it's you were wrong. I'm wrong on this. Like, no. Like, I'm misunderstanding you. No, Steve, I'm misunderstanding you. Imagine what those conversations would be like, right? As opposed to like, people are just pointing the finger, not even hearing, waiting the person to finish and then get their word in. Mm-hmm. You know? So we've done certain things here where we'll say like, all right, remember the meetings where I've had it, where I said with the two people, I go, all right, so what's his point? What's her point? Mm-hmm. And they both have no fucking clue what the point is. So I'm like, maybe spend a little time understanding the other point before start continuing
actually listening to the person.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody said that recently, that listen when you rearrange the letters is actually silent. Listen, silent. So freaking shut up and actually listen to what the person's saying, and then you're going to have a way better conversation at the end of the day if you're able to actually listen to the person.
That, by the way, how much does that come into working with clients?
Oh, yeah.
You know how many of the clients don't feel heard?
Yeah.
And they've been through dog trainers. The dogs are so misunderstood and feel like... That's why the dogs, by the way, when they come back from board and train, like we just had one come back from board and train for boarding now, and like wagging his tail, oh my God, I'm back here and stuff like that. It's like these people understand me. Mm-hmm. I was so misunderstood my whole life. Yep. And now these people understand me. I feel so comfortable here. I can be myself, you know? And that's what I want you guys to do as people, to be able to be yourself.
It's a good feeling.
Be confident in yourself and not when someone, look, the people who are around you who are going to, you always have, not always, but there can be people in your life who are going to say, yeah, you can't do that. That's their own shit projecting on you. Their own insecurities pushed on you. You're this, you're that. You can't. There's no way. Oh, you're not good enough. Blah, blah, blah. That's their own self-talk. Don't fucking take that shit on for yourself. You can. What's your self-talk? If I see somebody, I'm like, well, what's your self-talk? Do you think you can act? This is what I ask the clients. Right? How many times do we ask the clients, like, well, what do you think is going to happen here? And they're like, ooh. It's like, wow, nothing's even happened right now, but you're basing this past experience on what you're going to create this. Oh, it's going to get really bad and all this stuff. Yeah, well, you're thinking that way. Of course it's going to be. Mm-hmm. So do you like that option? How does that option make you feel? When you say I'm not good enough, how does that make you feel? Like shit, then why the fuck are you saying it? For real.
It really makes no logical sense.
I'm gonna like that. I really like have fantasy of that shit of being like the motivational coach like that thing, but not just like rah, being like, that doesn't make you feel good. Then why the fuck are you doing that shit? And they're like, because no, it's bullshit. So does it make you feel good when you say that you're a great person? Yeah, it does. So why don't we go with that feelings more? Or there was that thought if you're going to go with one, you know? Anyway, that's my other thing. That's coming. It's coming.
All right, let's really end it on that note.
Yeah. But look, the final thing is really that. The final thing is that this is not even really primarily about the dogs. It's about people. You know what I mean? Of course we love dogs, and it's something that we are so passionate about and understanding the psychology at a deep level on this. But where I would say that we're very different from most dog trainers, most rehab things and boarding, all that stuff, is that it's the human behind the dog and really wanting to help people in a way that we've been helped through dogs and getting people to be able to like make this world a better place for humans, which by the way, as human species, if we can make that better, it's better for the rest of the animals and everything. Yeah. Just how it is.
Yep.
Or else we can continue down this road of hate and division and fighting with each other and arguing and I'm better than you and you're wrong and I'm right and this. Look at all the animals out there. They're coexisting. They're dealing with life and stuff like that. And meanwhile, we live in this one place together and we're just fighting with each other all day and letting other people get rich because we're divided.
It's like Caesar says, though, right? What's his new thing? His new saying?
Life is simple. We make it complicated.
No, like the
better
one
people,
that
better planet.
Better humans, better planet. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that one's really important to remember.
Because look at the core of everything, it comes down to, like we said, like very like almost polarities, good and evil, hate and love. You know what I mean? So that the hate, the anger, the what did I say? Whatever. That side of it is then gets extended into animal abuser, racist, sexist, whatever. I mean, go into all the like terrible things. That's where it goes. So just like a dog, I'm like, okay, so this is insecurity and fear that's leading to the dog going after people. So right. I got to deal with the dog. Yes, we got to deal with the going after people. But we got to deal with the fear thing. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So it's like the same thing with people is wow, this person's got traumas and is angry and hateful and it's being coming out in this racist shit.
Right.
This person's got trauma from not having a good parent figure in their life. So now they're sexist. I don't know, whatever. Now they steal. Now they get involved in bullshit. You know what I mean? It gets extended into that. And then humans out there are saying, you're this, you're this. In reality, what they're saying at the core is, I'm a fearful, traumatized person, and I need help. But everyone's attacking. You know, like, so then all these traumatized people which in my opinion, we all are to a degree at some point, all this trauma, just fighting each other. My way, you're the worst, you suck, I'm this, and blah, blah, blah. And my group of traumatized people, we agree, we hate your group of traumatized. It's like, fucking God. Start focusing on your own thing and start spreading love and bringing people together. Because, by the way, we're all connected. Mm-hmm. Dog backwards is God. That's I heard. You guys said something else with that, and I heard the same.
Yeah, I said that one.
But call it source, call it energy. We're all connected to the same source. I mean, how weird was it today? We were talking about a trainer.
Oh,
the fucking trainer calls on the and I never talked to the person.
Who never calls
like
you.
I never hardly ever talk ever. You know, and I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking calling me right now. It's so interesting. So yeah, that's it.
No, last thing I have to say this.
Oh, don't do it, Adam.
No, I literally have to say this.
Which will segue into.
So check this out.
All right, I'm done.
Pack Leader Dogs is a church. It's like a church, and we all have to share the same thought. Yep. What that thought is, I don't know, but if we can get together one day and like, what's your name? Daniela was saying to do like a bond fire or something like that.
Yeah.
To really have one thought as a group and put that out there.
Yeah.
And see, like a mantra. And like practice that.
Well, I mean, look,
thought.
lead your dog, lead your life is definitely one of them for us because like that's why I love it so much is it has the dog life in there. I mean, we're saying when you understand the way to lead a dog, it gives you the ability and the skill set and the qualities to lead your life. Not to the how to get a high income. Okay. But it's going to give you the foundation. You know, it's like dog psychology, then go do dog training. Like, Did you get what I'm saying with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might not be the mantra, though. We can pick another
No,
one.
no, it could be anything.
I'm just saying, like, put that all out there.
I'm just saying at the core, it's
Yes.
definitely lead your dog, lead your life. Once you learn how to lead your dog, that's the foundation to lead a life.
Yeah.
Because you're practicing all the qualities that I see in all the high-performing people out there. I agree. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I see. The people, look, the ones who think they know it all out there are the ones who don't know it all.
Yeah.
And the most fascinating thing for me was seeing people like Caesar, seeing people like Tony Robbins, and these high-ass performing people who are so interested in learning the next thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Learning something else and understanding something new, and how intrigued they are and how much they focus on when someone's because they're not thinking about, I don't want this person to think that I'm less than them, or I don't know as much as them, or I'm dumb. They're just thinking about, I want the info. Yeah. I want what's there. I don't care about my ego. I'm good with my shit. Don't worry about that. I just want to know what it is. Mm-hmm. So that's the real shit. And that's bringing people to their level, but leading your dog can allow you to lead your life to get to that point. You know, so you're just looking for the right stuff and the information and spreading positivity, and it's a vibration at the subatomic level. It's a fucking vibration. It's how are those molecules moving? The atoms. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Subatomic would be
the me's.
low atoms. Yeah, whatever.
The me's. The me's.
Sure, you
the me's. The atoms.
I was like, oh.
What?
With that subatomic.
That's what it is. It's a vibration. Energy is a vibration. It's a frequency that's a vibration. So we're all. That's what I said. If I'm vibrating up here and someone else is vibrating here, we just clash like two magnets that are on positive, like pushed away. You know what I mean? That's why the people when they come into a room, like, I don't know about this person, because their vibration is so much lower and shittier. You're like, I don't want to deal with that. Mm-hmm. So that's what's really happening on a science level. If you want to talk about science.
There you go. Bring it back.
Science says that. No,
all right. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Thank you guys. Let us know how you like this setup. Ask questions that we could always in the comments. Tell us things we want to change. I'm always going to be saying this I try not to do it every podcast, but give us feedback. Good, negative. I hate it. I love it. Try to give me some love too. But we want that. We want ways that we can make this better because we're here for you guys. Thanks, Dave, for coming on.
Thanks, Dave, again.
Thank you.
Rate Dave on a 1 to 10 in the comments. No. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Stay calm and confident, and we'll see you guys soon. Have an amazing day. Love you guys.
Bye.